Awesome. Before we start, I always like to ask, how was your week? And how was your day so far? I'll get started with Jagdeep. I have him first, and then we'll just go work our way down.
Day is good, sir. So far, we're just looking excited for the next class. So the time
Right.
has come. So see what's going on over there. Overall, is
Very,
good.
very good, man. All right, thank you so much. Uh, Sunita.
Yeah, so far it's going good, sir. So I just finished my work, then I thought I should need to start my first class.
Mhm.
That's why I'm here. So hoping so that I'll learn something interesting.
Yes.
So yeah, hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Alan.
Uh,
Hey,
Hi,
Alan.
brother. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, I'm new to IT.
Yep.
I'm very excited to learn.
Okay. Very good, man. Very good. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I have Vinit. Uh,
Okay, brother.
Go ahead, Alan.
Sorry, my English is not good,
That's okay.
so I'm learning to English. Right?
That's okay. No problem, man. Yeah, if you have any question, feel free to always, raise the hand. So there's a raise hand symbol in Google. You can always raise that in the middle of the lesson and you can ask question. Or I will usually leave you guys time to ask question, okay? Almost every topic. And always feel free to unmute yourself and talk. You don't have to be formal about it in between the times when I ask you for questions. And don't feel shy at all, okay? You're not going to learn anything feeling shy here, okay? Anywhere in life, right? So don't feel shy for anything, okay? Very good. I have Venkat.
Yes, sir. Hi. So the previous weeks is like the hectic week, and right now also I'm not feeling well. But yeah,
Okay.
I've taken all the tablets also. But yeah, I'm looking forward to learn new stuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good, man. Very good. Yeah, and there's a lot of weather changes too nowadays, so it is
Yes,
been
sir.
pretty. I'm also feeling it too. So
Hmm.
it's not, it's just until we get that bypass the cold and it's hot, cold and hot, it's going to be like this. So
Yep.
we'll just have to push through it. All right, guys. So I know some people have not joined, but that's okay. If you cannot make it, I would just expect some sort of message in the group saying that you cannot make it for the people who's watching the video. It's not just a respect to myself; it's a respect to your classmate or your teammates, right? So that's why I address you guys as team rather than student. I'm gonna go forward after one or two classes. You guys be considered a team rather than the students itself. Okay. And sometimes you might get messages on the group, not from myself, from the staff that we have here, administrative staff that messages. So if they do, they might give you guys a student. If I do, then I might give you guys as team. So that's the difference you guys will face. Okay, being very honest. But I see that they put in dear hi dear students, so that's not me. That's the staff there. If it's from me, then I usually say team.
I
Okay.
was I was assuming that it's you that popping up the message on the group chat.
No, there's sometimes it's me, sometimes is a staff we have as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome, guys. Let's get started. Okay. So for the next, I'll be very honest with you. Until we cross, I'll show you here. Until we cross, we go into the intro to Azure, the fifth week. A lot of it, it's going to be mostly theory based. Okay, we're going to be talking about a lot of concepts, and we're going to be understanding a lot of concept. And then when we go into Azure, it will start all making sense. Just trust the process. This has been done over 3 weeks. A lot of iterations have happened. So it might get boring, but you have to listen to it and soak in the information. And so that way, when you go into Azure, it'll make a lot of sense. And also, when we start troubleshooting, when we start talking about troubleshooting and understanding troubleshooting, you'll start make all sense to you. Okay. So it's about I have 13 weeks of thing drafted here. Not all of them have quizzes. That doesn't mean they don't have quizzes. Okay. Some of them will have assignments. A lot of the Azure ones will have assignments for sure, and also there's quizzes on them too. Okay. Just to give you guys a thing, because there is assignments that happens in the Azure. There's a couple, I think 4 or 5 assignments that you guys will be doing, but you guys will have an ample amount of time. Okay. So you guys don't have to worry that or stress about it. And some things before I want to get started, tell you guys, I like to treat you guys as a team. So at workplace, sometimes you might not get the leniency of skipping work because you could not do it, right? So all I'm going to ask is if you guys are going to be delayed in work, I'm going to ask that you guys say at least 2 to 3 days before, but try to do it as best as possible. late is late for me. There is no exceptions unless there's circumstances, right? But unless there's a good valid reason, consider it to be late, okay? And which is not good. Very honestly, you will not be given second opportunity in life. So sometimes I don't sleep at all to do my work. So if it is life is not fair all the time. So I'm not going to give you guys leniency just because you are studying. You guys are adults and you guys want to go into the job field. I'm going to expect you and treat you guys just like a team. Okay. That does not mean I'm going to be rude to you guys or anything like that, but it's more practical approach to how assignments are supposed to be done. Everything we do in a crawl, walk, and run phases, so it'll be very smooth transaction. But once we go into IT Azure, we expect you to do some research. We expect you to do some sort of digging around before you reach out to the team or reach out to myself. If there's assignment, if you just tell me you don't know how to do it, I'm not going to help you out. Okay. But if you actually give me an email or a message saying that, hey, these are things I've done, but I don't understand, or can you point me in the right direction? I will never give you a direct answer, but I will definitely point you in the right direction for you to dig up and find the answer. Okay. That's how it works. Okay. Any question, guys?
No question, sir. It's all
Perfect.
clear.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so this today's we're going to be covering IT help desk and operating system as well. So those are what's going to be quizzes, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. And almost every other slides, I'll give you guys the opportunity, 30 seconds opportunity for you to raise a voice and ask, and we'll talk about the topic. If not, we will keep on moving. Okay. But I encourage you guys to ask questions if you're not sure about anything. And as I said, there is no such thing as stupid question. If you guys ask me a question, I have to answer you with the answer that you guys understand. If you don't understand, please ask me again. Okay. I will put in a different way and show you guys. If I have to draw a picture, I'll draw a picture. Okay. And I'll show you guys. Okay. Right. Okay. So sorry, before we start, sorry, my apologies. We'll take a break every 1 hour. Okay. Just so you guys can grab some water or something. Okay. Just 10 minutes break every 1 hour. Perfect, guys. So we'll take our next break at 7:30. Okay. Awesome. So level of support. IT help desk, it involves a 3-tier support. So what is a 3-tier support? Is there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Okay. The first tier is frontline support, which is mostly what you guys are going to end up in. Okay. So the first point of contacts for users, handles basic issues like password resets, printer problem, login issues, and you're going to be assigning people to a right group, assigning licenses, removing licenses, and if somebody joins the company, create their account. And if somebody leaves the company, you'll be doing account terminations. So 2 keywords that you guys want to write down is onboarding and offboarding. Onboarding means when somebody joins the company, you'll create the basic account, which you'll have a very good hands-on account. You'll create like 20, 30 accounts, okay, to do. So you don't have to worry about it, but you have to get that foundation, understand very good, okay? So you want to create them in Active Directory, Azure. We'll go through fully into that section 6, but you'll create them. You'll make sure to put them in the correct department. You'll put them in the correct group when we'll see all of this, okay? And all of this will start making sense once we start going down the line of this course. And you'll make sure that if there is any problem, there's actually a log report you can actually pull up and see. And you can have a very good understanding of, are they failing because they're not typing in the password correctly? Are they failing because their 2-factor authentication is failing? Or are they failing because of some other policies that the company have set up? Okay, we'll see all of this when we go down the course, but just understand this, okay? And write this down maybe if you guys do need to. Use a script or a knowledge base. So what is a knowledge base is? It's a set of imagine like a manual book. Okay, so every time when the IT faces an issue that does not get resolved within the 15-30 minutes mark, depends on the company you work in, they'll create something called a knowledge base. So they'll put the naming title as account was not able to log in or something like that, where you can go in and search this directory, and you'll be able to find that the manual book for it, and you'll get exactly step-by-steps on what you need to do to solve the issue. There is also a knowledge base. It's like a manual book for account creation. Usually a lot of companies, 99.9% of the companies, will have some sort of step-by-step instructions on how they want accounts to be created. We'll learn how to create accounts, but it might slightly differ based on the company you go to work for. I know banking industry does it slightly different. Healthcare does it slightly different. Construction does it slightly different, and a lot of companies does it slightly different. Okay, so we can show you here 60 to 70%. The 30% changes company to company. It's just because how their application is set up to work with it. Okay, but you'll have a very good hands-on experience on how to do this. Okay, right. Any question on the frontline worker, guys? First frontline support.
No,
Perfect.
it's
No,
clear,
sir.
sir.
Right. So the next is tier 2. So this is where it's more, little more technical and handles more slightly complex issue. Okay, has a deeper technical understanding and may involve system configuration or advanced troubleshooting. So this is like when you've been working in IT help desk tier 1 for 6 months or 1 year, you'll get moved into tier 2, which is what commonly a lot of people get stuck in. This is what's called a zone where you get stuck in if you don't know how to get out of it. Okay, because let's say if you're at a company for 1 year, 2 years, right? You would have already faced almost all the issue, 90% of the issues, day-to-day issues, and you'll become expert at it. And you'll stick in tier 2, technical support. This is like for people who's been there for 1 year to 3 years, right? They'll be the senior support technicians, or they'll be the one that everybody goes to for help. That's why tier 2 is classified as, okay? And they'll work with like some log tools. In your Windows, if you guys are using Windows computer, I just want to show you guys, there's a tool called Event Viewer. I'm going to present my window here. There's actually a tool called Event Viewer. So what Event Viewer does is it pretty much has a logbook record of whatever your systems are doing, okay? If your system crashes, if your system, something happens very slow, if your system application just stopped working, your computer, anything to do with the computer after it's powered on, we can actually go in here and see. There's actually ways you can pull the report. So if you see here, there's actually categories for custom view, Windows logs, application service logs, and subscription. So usually it depends on what you're trying to troubleshoot, right? If what you're trying to see, if you're trying to see like application like Microsoft Office, Team Viewer, Adobe, or anything that, those will fall under the application. And you can see any of these reports from here, okay? If it's Microsoft, you can see your Microsoft Office alerts. If you go in here, this will give you any alerts a Microsoft Office product has created. And there is 3 different variations to this: informational, warning, or errors. And it'll clearly lay out here. I'm just going to pull up an example of a warning will look like. Just all three of them, okay, the levels of them. Okay, let me go in here, Windows log. Security will definitely have a lot of things that's, okay, so let's say we go in, let me go into systems. Okay, see how this says, okay, let me filter this out. So, okay, so you see how this says yellow, this is a warning. And there's also errors, okay? These are 3 different, there's error will be a red color. Error. So these are 3 different types of alert type or level type there is, okay? Alert level types. And you'll work on these and you'll have a deep understanding of how this works. And this is something you look at a log report on a day-to-day basis with obviously with experience, right? And you'll see, because you'll have tons of, even a proper working computer will have tons of warning and tons of errors. Even my system will have a lot of errors. It doesn't mean that it is affecting the system. You have to know what you're looking for and you look for it, right? And there is some filtering that you'll do to get the results. We will look at this in our troubleshooting steps, in a troubleshooting module, as part of one of our troubleshooting steps that you guys will have to understand, okay? But just an overview. This is some of the things that you will be working in as a tier 2 technical support, okay? This is some of the things. Obviously, there's other tools that's more powerful. But this is more of what your computer is actually doing. So as long as you understand how to read this, you'll become very successful. But it just takes some time, and it just takes a lot of time and understanding of it, okay? But it's not like it's not doable. You guys can do it. Okay, that's what tier 2 does. It's a little bit more in-depth troubleshooting, okay? Any question on tier 2, guys?
Sir, I have one question not related to this part. So, according to you, how much time like we need to stay on one role? Like if we are on the tier one role, so within how many months? Not in the months. I know at least we need to spend, I think, 2 to 3 years, right? As per my understanding. So what's your suggestion? How much time we need to give our first job as a tier one or as a tier two? Within how many years we need to switch the job?
Okay, very good question. So I say, okay, so here's one of the things I tell all my teammates when I train them in corporate level. Okay, IT help desk. You should not be in IT help desk
Hmm.
anywhere by after 3 or 4 years. You should be out of help desk and more into specialized services, either your system,
Hmm.
networking, cloud, or security, either or. Security is a little more about, but you can either go into cloud, you can either go into networking, or you can either go into server side, but that's within the 3 years, 3 to 4 years. And even after 4 years, you have not moved into help desk, which is the reason why I said it's a good question. Is Sunita, is a lot of people get stuck in help desk and they stuck there for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And but one of the disadvantages getting stuck in help desk is you will not be given the opportunity to move up, because here's the thing: a lot of people, when you become very friendly at work and when
Hmm.
you do your work very good, the
Hmm.
corporate level does not want to make you move up because it's because they'll lose a good staff, right?
Right.
So
Hmm.
and the engagement level from the customer and technical department will go down, because if somebody's very friendly and they're at the front desk, they
Hmm.
can solve a lot of problem before it even gets to the back, like almost all the problems, right? So for them it's easier, and it's from a management standpoint, it's actually hurts them when they move you up, but you have to push your way to move out of help desk. And I would say 3 to 4 years should be more than enough to specialize into any one of those three fields I told you, right? Even if you want to specialize in cybersecurity, go for it. It's the four fields are open, but at least these three fields should be very relevantly simple. I wouldn't say simple, but I would say you have a very good, very very high chance of getting into, as long as you put the right certification in place, right enthusiasm, right attitude towards it. I think you should be able to move up.
Okay.
But each role, if you think about it, so I'll go to the next slide. There's actually tier three, but you won't. So the thing is, tier three is more. Not a lot of companies have tier three. It's one enterprise. So after tier two, you should be specializing into something which is more networking, server, cloud. Okay.
Right. Right.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, and it's one of those. This is the only. Soon as you pass the help desk and go into something specialization, it's much more easier for you to move, because this is in IT. They're saying there's a glass ceiling, because it'll seem it's so easy to go to the next position, but there's a glass roof there that doesn't allow you to. You can see it clearly. You can see everybody's working there, but there's just a glass. It just you can transparently see, but it's so hard to break through that. Once you break through and go out, it's easy.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah, once you go into even the junior system admin or junior network admin, junior cloud admin or junior cloud analyst, like any of those positions, it's easy. After you go there, it's easy for you to move up and then go anywhere you want. But it's help desk and breaking help desk it is a bit difficult, being very
Right.
honest. And a lot of people, even my friends right now, are still stuck in the tier three engineering support, because at the end of the day, they think of it like this: they're making 85, 95, 100K in tier three. Why would
Mm-hmm.
they go up, right? But it's not about 100K, 200K, right? It's because yourself, you're getting used to, you're getting very comfortable with where you are. And
Yeah.
once you get comfortable, that's when the danger happens, right? In IT, once you stay comfortable in IT in the same position for so long, that's when layoff happens. When everybody can replace you,
Yeah.
and you get comfortable, you get replaced very easily. That's how it works. Okay. Any
Exactly.
yeah, any corporate job, that's how it works. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
not
People.
talking about corporate, but that's how every corporate job works. So, like, as long as the company needs you, they have to
Yeah.
pay. And you always need to put yourself and embed yourself into the companies. So, meaning the company needs to get a value from you. Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
if Sunita stops working today, then one of the sections will be damaged, right? So, means they will keep you in that loop. That is one of the
Right.
things that you need to get yourself embedded. And yes, it'll be a lot of work, and you're not going to work 8 hours. I'll be very honest with you. When I first started in IT, for me
Mm-hmm.
to be very successful, I'm not saying you should do it. Everybody has a life, and you guys should need to balance it. But I spend maybe 10, 12 hours. My work starts at 8 o'clock, but I would go there at 7, 6:30 sometimes to do my work, and because at the time when I was becoming a manager, the hospital actually when they had there's some things that happened just before COVID, and when COVID happened, what for me to break into more into the government sector and become more, because I'm from the military base, right? So for me to break into like civilian side, there's a huge stigma there. Because everything is strict in the military side, so when you come in, they don't allow you to do a lot of strict managerial work.
Right.
For me, I
Right.
have to prove it through my work ethic. So which means before everybody comes in at 8, I'm already there at 6:30 making my coffee, doing all my work, and then everybody comes in. I can do my work with them, but because of dedication and the amount of work I have done, I became master at what I did. So they couldn't refuse me when I asked. When the manager left, they had to put me in, because the other thing is I want to leave. That's what happened, right? So for them, it's better for them to keep me, and they know my work ethics, and I know the system in and out. When COVID happened, pretty much everybody in healthcare got affected, and every IT department just vanished overnight.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
when we did a vaccine mandate, everybody vanished, right? So they had no choice. And then I was there. I took care of service desk. I took care of networking. I took care of server. I took care of cybersecurity. Pretty much all around IT as a single person, and with 2 or 3 people, obviously. But it's a dedication you show, right? It
Yeah.
goes that way. And you have to be in the right company as well, and it goes hand in hand. Okay. Obviously, when you guys get in, don't expect too much. Expect to learn and move up and up and up, and take the work, even if it takes some time. Learn it, do it, and move on. Right. So that's why it's just about the 2-3 years dedicated for this.
Oh, for
Obviously,
particular role. Yeah.
yeah, obviously you're gonna have to take vacation and everything, but when you're there, be there dedicated, and trust me. So I used to be a very heavy smoker, but when I
Oh.
started working, even the 15 minutes of smoke break, I could be working. So I became very addicted in coffee.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
pretty much have 10 or 12 cups of coffee a day. So my energy level was through the roof.
Oh.
So I was pretty much jetting through the hallway just to get stuff done. And for me, that's how I ran, right? So I'm not saying don't get anything in coffee, but something,
Yeah.
some sort of stimuli helps, right? So
Yeah.
it does, then coffee or something like that. But just
Right.
stay motivated. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever is
Yeah.
your motivation key, right? So, but within, I can guarantee if you dedicate your life for the next 3 to 5 years into just going to IT and learning this, and even if you start off at 45, 50K, within the 3 to 5 years mark, I can guarantee you that you'll be in the 100K, 120K mark easy. As long as you play the cards right and you move up and you get the proper certifications, you follow the right path, you'll be in that mark very easy, and nobody can replace you. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. Okay. So tier 3. Anyone else any question?
I have a question. First of all, I just wanted to, congratulate that you have been pointing out the very hard-hitting statement, because we should not be get comfortable with what we are having. We should have to always be in a tough situation to in order to grow. So I really appreciate
Yeah.
that. And in the tier 2 levels, I'm more interested to that security kind of stuff. Like, so is it basically like a kind of a, a carbon copy of a security analyst role? Like
No,
the
no,
no.
no.
Okay.
So I'll tell you this. In tier 2, you might do a little bit more advanced in security. So let's say this: if you're tier 1, when we train for big enterprises, what we say, any problem that takes less than 15 or 30 minutes to resolve, tier 1 does it. So usually, like, I cannot log into my account, I cannot print, I cannot access this file, I cannot send email. Any of those type of things that can be solved within the 15 to 30 minutes mark. And anything over the 30 minutes mark to, let's say, 2 hours, 3 hours mark, it's tier 2. So which means they're more complex work, and they could be anything: networking, application, security, server, cloud, anything, all of these, right? But because you know the system and you know the organization very well, you're able to solve the issue, right? And let's say what tier 3 does is, usually, as I said, tier 3 is not a lot of company has them. Okay, nowadays a lot of companies are tier 3 is more system network or system network or cloud analyst or engineer or admin. They have different titles, but they all mean the same thing. Is you're doing more complex setup. So like creating Azure groups, which you guys will do. Don't worry, you guys don't know. You guys will definitely do that. Okay, but it will definitely be that type of work. It's about creation. So think of it like this: the tier 3 and anything above will create, tier 2 and below will maintain. They won't create net new.
Got it. Because like the log inspection and all will be doing in a security analyst role, right? So the log inspection and all, like we have to do it, right? So I just thought that
Yeah.
it might be the like the carbon
Yes.
copy of it, but yeah.
Yeah, so okay, let me break that down. That's actually a very good valid point. The reason that there's a difference between this, when a security analyst looks at a log report and when you look at a log report, there's a slight difference. You're looking for you're looking for a reason why the user is not able to log in. But whereas a security guy checks the log and sees if is the user who's logging in is dumb.
Mhm.
That's the difference. It's more
Okay.
questioning, are they actually who they are? Like if Atman's logging into my corporate email, is Adhavan who he says he is? Whereas versus tier 2 will look, is Adhavan, why isn't Adhavan not able to log in?
Okay, got it.
Yeah. It's inspection of it's security analyst is inspecting the authenticity, and whereas tier 2 and tier 1, even tier 3 sometimes, they look at why is Adhavan not logging in. It's the authentication portion.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Okay. You look at you'll get a more, if you don't understand this terminology, we'll talk about it in our security concept. You'll get a very clear understanding of why this matter. Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, tier 3 are experts, are engineer. As I said, not a lot of companies nowadays having tier 3. It's tier 2, tier 1. They call it now tier 1, tier 2, and then tier 3 is more of a junior admin or admin role. Okay, so server admin, network admin, application admin, cloud admin, security analysts sometimes fall under tier 3 as well, depending on what company structure you're working for. But almost 90% or 85% of the company has only tier 1 and tier 2. The reason why, a lot of enterprises, like people, so just to give you a clear understanding of it, is any people that's working, sorry, less than let's say 500 600 users, people, right, working in a company, means it's a small business, small to mid-sized business. Okay, anything about 1,000 people to 3,000 people is a mid to large, and anything over the 5,000 user mark is enterprise. So usually tier 3 exists in enterprise. Those are the enterprise level. Okay, tier 3. And tier 3 can go also into application support. So if they're having issues with if the company makes their own application, tier 3 will be troubleshooting the application they made. They'll be maintaining that. Okay, it's not help desk. It's a tier 3 support. It does falls under help desk in some companies. Some companies don't. It's all very vague, different between companies to companies. That's the reason why you see that there's a lot of difference in title as well. You'll see titles like help desk technician, service desk analyst, and technical support specialist. There's different titles, but they all mean the same thing. Okay? Tier 3 is a highly specialized expert, system admin, developers. That's the reason why they're moving to the title of developers now. Fixes bugs, performs root cause analysis. You guys might write this down. It's called RCA, like Romeo, Charlie, Alpha. RCA, okay, RCA analysis. So there does root cause analysis, meaning why this problem happened in the first place. If something goes down, they'll try to do analysis to see why it went down, what happened, what can we do next time so this does not happen. Okay. Often works with vendor or creators long-term fix. So vendor means, so when whoever they buy the software or the products from. So let's say you buy a laptop from Dell will be considered as vendor. Okay, so whoever created the product itself, it could be software or hardware itself. Okay, any question, guys?
No.
Perfect, thank you. Help desk versus service desk. So there's so you guys will see the title help desk. We're like our service desk in Joblet application, Indeed, LinkedIn, and everything. Okay, so help desk focus on fixing immediate problems. React to issues like my email isn't working, I can't log in, all of this. Okay, these two titles nowadays in the world of IT, it's hit or miss. Okay, so I'm just giving you guys what ITIL how they differentiate it. But nowadays in the world, you'll see the job description. They'll have break and fix right away in the service desk, and help desk does a little bit more advanced too. But traditionally, when they created these roles, Help desk was more quick, fast response. They're the one who's solving, because if you think about it, when you get a call, if it's a 600,000 people working company, they probably get like 100 200 calls a day. But not all 100 or 200 calls are complex issue for it to be going to different like system admin or something like that, right? Maybe 70% of it is just a simple issues that can be solved within the 30 minutes mark or 15 minutes mark. The other 30%, they'll help desk will still receive it. They'll still do the troubleshooting. They'll still create a ticket, what's called ticket. I'll show you all of that, what that is. And they'll pass the information on to the right team. And if the team wants an information, they might even send it back to help us to collect the information and give it to them. Okay. So like you'll do a lot of troubleshooting, you'll get all the information, and that's how you get very, very known how to troubleshoot and what type of questions you ask. That's how you develop your technical and more of your, your technical knowledge. Right? The goal is to restore normal service quickly. So if I say, hey, I'm the manager of IT, I can't log in, as a help desk at level 1, your scope of work, your perspective on how to fix this should be is, okay, so if Adam's not able to work, he can't do his work for the team itself, right? Because I'm managing the team. So yours should be is within the 15 or 10 minutes mark on myself on a call to resolve the issue as quickly as possible so I can start working again. Okay. That is a part of the break and fix and quick service as a level one technician. And more complex issue every day you tackle on, you'll learn a lot more and you'll start fixing a lot more issues. But it takes time and it's a learning process, right? But your time is to every time you learn something new, you're supposed to write it down and you follow the next step if the same issue comes again. Okay, you'll try to slowly start working your way up and solving the issue. Any question on help desk, guys? Awesome.
So basically, you mean, sorry, I think I missed something. So basically, both are same or a little bit different?
So it used to be like if you go 5 or 10 years ago, even 5 years ago,
Mhm.
there used to be very clear separation between help desk and service desk. But since COVID happened and they didn't have enough IT staff and they didn't have enough staff whatsoever, they combined both of them together.
Yeah.
So nowadays, if you read the job description, service desk will have a lot of things to do with the help desk as well, like break and fix, immediate break and fix. It's just one is cost cutting, so they don't have to have a dedicated team just for help desk and just for service desk. They have now merged two of them into one role,
Right.
one under the one roof. Because what
Ah.
used to happen is there used to be a team lead for help desk, and there used to be a team lead for service desk, and there used to be a team lead for networking. There's a team lead for server and everything, right? Like what's the networking server cloud is called operations,
Mhm.
and the service that's going to help us is called service delivery.
Yeah.
It's called service delivery. So they'll have another manager or coordinator for help desk, and they'll have another service desk coordinator or team lead for it. But then because they now separated those two, it just now comes into one department, which is called service delivery.
Okay.
Now help desk is part of service delivery and service desk. Now the roles are all mixed up together. When you read the description, you understand like, oh, there's a lot of break and fix. It's not really a service desk. It's more of a help desk. But in the corporate world now, they just mixed up everything. They just combined everything together just to cost cut.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it.
Okay. Yeah. So service desk, broader focus includes help desk tasks plus more. This is why I said now they combined it into one. Is because service desk, you'll still do the same job as help desk, but plus more. Instead of now just let's say, hey, my internet is not working or anything like that, you might only get calls for like 4 or 5 hours. Maybe after lunch the calls will go down. But instead of you doing nothing and twiddling your thumb or going on your phone, we might have like 200 people joining the company next month. So we'll tell you to do that account creation, onboarding, right? So we'll tell you, okay, here's 200 accounts. If the people are 4, you guys need to get it done by end of this month. You guys will split the work up. Your coordinator or your team lead will split it up and give it to you guys and manage those tasks on the free time. That's the reason why nowadays it's becoming more of a the help desk and service desk combined together, is because help desk nowadays does not have too much work for them to do. With especially the help of Azure and cloud-based technology, you can reset your own password, by yourself. Or there's a newer security policies. I don't know if you guys ever read about it. It's called passwordless login. As long as you have a phone that's issued by the company, You just type in your email address, it sends a code to your phone, you put in the code, and you're logged in. So because of that, there's no need for a lot of these break and fix, right? So now if you combine the team together, now cost is cut. The team of instead of being the team of 14, now it's just a team of 5 or 6 that does the same job, even more with a less amount of people and less salary, right? So that's how they cut it down. Okay.
Right, right.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, that's clear to me.
Perfect. Very good. So manage a service request. Okay, so if you think about this, there's a couple of things in when we go on ITIL, we'll talk about this. One is called service request. One is called incident. The other one is called problem. We'll talk all three about this, but just to give you guys something you guys can write down. Service request is me asking them something, right? So I'm asking you something like, hey, can I get access to this folder? Or can you buy this license for me for Office 365? Or can I get a new monitor? It's anything that's new I'm asking. It's a service request. I'm asking a request for a service or a product, right? So it's a request. Okay. Access to a software, onboarding a user is also service request. Terminating user is also called a service request. All of these all falls under some asking you to do something for them, right? So those are called service requests. Align IT with the business need. So your part of as a service desk role, which you guys will be most likely will be playing, is not a help desk, more of a service desk role. It's more analytical role, right? You guys will be focused more on the business needs. So if if as IT manager, if I need to have access to Adobe Acrobat Pro and I ask you for that, you guys will get the work order ready, pass it to your team lead for approval, and he'll purchase it. You'll come back and install it and license my computer for it, right? So it's whatever the business needs, you'll do. It's not always fixing computers or fixing softwares. It's also about working and making sure that the business itself runs. Remember what we talked about, right? The IT is always part of the business. It's never its own. It's never in its own island. You're also part of the business. Your purpose is to make sure that the business runs smoothly. That's all. Okay. If the business does not run smoothly, you don't have a job. That's exactly what it is. Okay. The reason why a lot of people that gets let go from service desk or help desk is because they don't understand that they are working for a bigger purpose, which is a business. Part of the IT team, okay? Well, your IT team leads you, but they're leading you is to run the business, okay? That's the reason why, okay? And that's the exact reason why there's sets of rules, there's sets of regulations, and there's certain way how they want you to do it, and you can't just do it the way you like to do it. Okay, you have to follow the steps on how they show you and what they want you to do. Okay. And aligns IT with usually a part of ITIL framework. We will cover this. It's called the ITIL framework. It is developed by I believe it's developed by the British government. It's how IT should be working so they can provide some value to the business, and how the business can see if the IT is actually providing value to the business. Or are they just paying money for nothing? It's to understand. It's called ROI. R Romeo. Owl, I for England, I for India. So ROI, so return on investment. So let's say IT department. Now I'm a director. I get a $3.2 million budget every year to spend on IT, but the business is taking the $3.2 million from somewhere, right? They're making the money. For them, they need to make sure that the $3.2 million they give me, I use it properly so they can make 3 or 4 or 5 times the amount by them doing their work, right? So I don't cause there shouldn't be anything on myself or my team that's causing any sort of delay that will cause the business to lose money. Okay. I'll just give you an analogy on something that I always give in class. So when I used to do consultancies, so I used to be a consultant director, right, of IT. And one of the biggest projects or biggest vendor I ever worked for was Walmart. So before I went into Walmart, when I did some Walmart projects, Walmart, if Walmart's debit card machines, it works on internet. So if their internet was to go down for 1 hour, let's say, right? If you can't pay by debit, on average, a Walmart per day makes around $150,000 a day. Okay, so they're open for 12 hours. Okay, so if you take 12 hours and just if you do here 150,000, let's do 100,000. Okay, if you take 100,000, divide this by 12 hours, they're making around $8,000 per hour, right? So let's say they lose debit card for 1 hour. but let's say across 300 Walmarts across Canada, okay? Because remember that everything's connected to the cloud, right? So everything's managed by one central system. If it's across Walmart for 1 hour, just 1 hour, one day, they lose around $2.5 million just in revenue. So that is part of a huge budget, just by 1 hour. Any question, guys?
That's right.
Yeah. But yes, that's how serious this gets. Okay, so then that person who was in charge of director of IT got fired, and that's when I went in and did consulting. I never worked full time for Walmart, but I went in to fix some of their framework issues they had, like what we call the SOPs, like separation of duties, and how the operations would work in Walmart, and how it should be working. Okay, that's what we went in to fix up. But that's one of the things they had one time. I think one day, I think 2 or 3 years ago, they had about 1 hour of delay in all across. I think 300 is just a lower number. I think all over North America, Walmart, the debit card machine stopped working, and I believe it's an astonishing number. I think it's 12.5 or like 20 or 30 million dollars in loss just for 1 hour across all stores, right? But it's because of these type of seriousness, they integrate something called ITIL frameworks. What ITIL does is there's always a room to improve. There's never IT department can never say, okay, I'm done, I'm at the highest peak. You always have to improve, and there's always room for improvement. Okay, that's what ITIL does. And there is actually a proper way how things should be documented, and how things can be, how things should be displayed out to the management, so they can see whatever the money they're giving, they can make money on it. Okay, they're thinking they can see that they're making more than what they pay out. Okay, it's beneficial for them. That's what ITIL does. Okay, it's more for management side, and it also tells us what type of customer service things that we should be doing, and what classifies as what. We'll look at more into the ITIL sections. Okay, any question, guys?
No, sir.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, Coleman helped us terminologies. Okay, you guys might write this down. What is a ticketing system? We will always, all work comes into, traditionally what ITIL tells us is every work in IT should come in through a ticket. Ticket is nothing but, like, let's say if you're working in a kitchen, right? Let's say if you're working in a restaurant, when the cashier sells pizza or something, right? And in the back they get another paper that says this is what the person ordered. So it tells them what inches the pizza is, how much topping should go on it, is it cheese or is it pepperoni? That list of things what they need to do the work order. That's basically what it is. Okay, it's a request, or it's a part of a problem, or whatever it is. But that's how they can monitor. Okay, how long did from the time that let's say I complain saying that my password is not working. If I complain from the time I complain, how long did it take for Alan to fix my issue? There's a timing, and they'll monitor the timing to see, is there a way we can improve this? And is it a gap between training, or is it a gap because of a lot of work? And if there's a lot of work, what can the management do to help you, solve problem quickly? Would it help to add a third person into the team, someone new into the team, so they can take on more tickets? If they're getting 100 and they're getting split up between two people, 50-50, it might be too overwhelming for two of them, right? So it could be overwhelming for, let's say, Venkat, and I have Alan here. They're the only two people working in service desk. 50-50 ticket per day will be overwhelming for them. So if we add a third person in, they'll only get 33 tickets each, right? So it's divided into, it's divided evenly, right? So which makes it more better. But you have to prove that, because of short of staff that we're doing this, and ticketing system can usually tell the management that, okay, how fast we're doing. And there's also other things. It's called customer relationship management as well. There's CRP, customer relationship portal. How they manage, how well is someone talking to the customer? Are they being rude? Are they being nice? Are they being helpful? Are they being actually genuinely trying to attempt work? Customers can also give feedback, and that's how they see is a team is actually being customer oriented. IT is always customer oriented. It doesn't matter what role you go into. Your role does not exist if the person's not there. If the person's problem is not, does not get resolved with you properly talking to them, they can replace you and get someone who can, right? There's a lot of people that's very smart, but they might have a head weight, and they get let go like this. I've seen people get $200,000 pay, and they get head weight within 5 days, 10 days, they get fired because they can't talk to people. And they just think they're full of themselves, right? So always be humble at where you are. It'll take you long ways. But the purpose of the ticketing is a definition is ticketing system tracks and manages IT issues, request, and task. So remember I told you there's three things, right? So remember the request, incident, and a problem, right? So request itself falls into request category here, but issues are like, let's say when I say I can't log into my account, that is considered as an issue. But issue also breaks into two different parts, which I'll just show you here in Paint. I used to have a bamboo trackpad that I can draw, but now that's broke, so I have to order one. So I'm keep on forgetting to order one, so I can actually draw. I'm not a good drawer, but I can show you guys a very good visual understanding. Okay, let's say this one over here, and one over here. Okay, let's say this one. This category is request. Okay. And this is issue. Oh. Okay, so issues will typically get split into two, okay? So one would be problem. Sorry. Okay. So if you see here, the request is always just it'll just be a request, service request. It could be for a hardware or software. It just depends on what type of request I'm asking for. So this is just a service request, okay? I'm just gonna put this as. And this could be for anything. I can be asking for a monitor. I can be asking for, obviously it has to do with IT, right? I can't just be asking to grab me a cup of water, obviously, but it has to be something to do with IT. So this is, they're asking you service, they're requesting something, software, hardware, doesn't matter, our license or whatever it is, okay? But incident, let's say this, okay? So if I go into incident, this is where it gets bit into analytical thinking, okay? So incident is more of, if I can't log in. So let's say I forgot my password, or I'm just trying something, I forgot my password or something, right? Anything that's small, okay? That's like a little bit, it's because of me, it's for myself, printing, whatever it is you can think of, okay? That, someone can say, I can't access my internet or whatever it is, okay? It's a one-time thing. I'm calling you and I'm saying I can't log in. It's because I forgot the password or my computer is just expired, whatever it is, okay? The difference where it becomes a problem is, let's say I'm calling you, right, at 8 o'clock when the company starts. I'm telling you, hey, Jagdeep, I can't log in, man, right? You're like, okay, then let me unlock your account. You unlock my account. And then, Sunita calls Jagdeep and be like, hey, it's Jagdeep, I can't log in. Oh, you're like, okay, I'll unlock your account. You see the account's locked. And then you see Alan calling you, Jagdeep, and saying, hey, my account is locked. And you see the trend here? It's more than one people affected, and it's becoming a trend, right? You see, it's becoming a trend. That is a problem. Now, a problem, if it's not treated right away, if it's not been captured right away, it can become like a service outage. What we call service outage means system stops working. This could be an issue of some sort of server issue. Usually, a lot of ITIL, what the framework says, anything that it happens in the same pattern more than 3 or 4 times, it can be considered a problem. So now, when it becomes a problem, it's more of a bigger problem that you have to solve, right? Incident is like something, something just happened and you just fixed it. Okay, it's done and got away. But problem is something it's happening again and again and again, and it's causing a lot of people to stop working, right? So that's when it's classified as problems. Anything that happens more than 3 or 4 times, it becomes a problem, okay? And then you would have to create a ticket, assign it's called a problem ticket, okay? You create a problem ticket and you attach all the things to the problem ticket. So you'll see how many people ever reported. And then you pass this on to the appropriate team. and they'll do the troubleshooting, and they'll fix the issue, and then they'll come up with RCA. Can you guys tell me what does RCA means, please? One of you guys?
So root cause analysis.
Yeah,
Very good.
root cause analysis.
Very good. Yeah. So they will do root cause analysis and see what is wrong, why it happened, what can we do to prevent this from happening. Okay. Very good, guys. Everybody clear about the requests and issues?
Yes, sir.
Very good. And what is the purpose of a ticketing system is to organize requests. So it's to, properly, organize them and, keep them in a better view. I'll give you guys access to a live ticketing system too, so you guys can go around and play into it. And you will be creating tickets to play around with. Okay, so just to get used to it. Track issue history. So if let's say if Venkat, he's working in sales. He's coming in every Friday, around 1 p.m. and bringing in his laptop, saying my laptop just stopped working. It's not charging, it's dead. And this has been happening, every week on a Friday, right? It could be because Venkat just wants to take a Friday off early. Or it could be that, actually there's something happening to the system, right? You can see the history of, how many times has Venkat ever come into IT with the same problem, same incident, and see if there's actually a problem with the computer itself. What we can do is we can replace the computer, or is he actually coming in just to pull our legs and go home early, But it helps us to track how many times that computer or the person or the same problem or incident has repeated again and again in any given point in time. Now, anything that's like computer, servers, cell phones, switches like Wi-Fi routers, switches, anything we can say that's considered asset. Okay, asset. Like means it's just something we own, right? So it's asset. Okay, so that's how we'll address them. So if he brings in his asset and say, okay, hey, it's not working, we can see how many times the asset has ever been into IT. And if we ever, like, let's say we changed his laptop screen, we changed his hard drive, we changed his fan, we changed his battery, we can actually do a proper analysis and see how many times has his laptop ever been fixed and what type of fix has been done if they're properly taking, the department, like there's a hardware team that does this, right? So if they're properly doing it, they should be noting it down on the ticketing system too. So you can actually pull up the serial number of the computer and see if there's any work has been done to it and how many times this has been come in. And you can actually say to the desktop team or hardware team saying, hey, this laptop has been here for more than 5 or 6 times. Let's just, send this in for warranty and give Venkat a new laptop or, a replacement laptop so he can do his work. Because I think this has been happening so many times. Because you're frontline, you're in the first tier of 1, you'll see a lot of this, okay? And you'll be the first person to be like, hey, I see this, you've been coming in. You have much more personal connection, and it's easy for you to connect with the user. And because you can do a better customer service, you can turn Venkat can be frustrated, right? He's doing his work. He probably has a sales quota that he's trying to fill in for the week, right? But he can't do it because of the computer. But you can empathize with him to make sure he calms himself down, right? That's the benefit of tier 1. It's just, if you have very good customer service and very good approach to problem solving and empathy, connecting with people, you'll do a lot more better, and a lot of people will like you, and you can move up. Okay, so a lot of managers will get saying that this person has helped me, they're very helpful or something. That very, very often. Okay, and ticketing system also ensures accountability. What does accountability means? Let's say if the system, sometimes the ticketing system will automatically, it's a different company, different setup. Okay, usually how I like to do is I like to set up departments, and when the ticket comes in, it automatically assigns the tickets to each person. It just randomly picks and puts it in. Some companies will tell you just go and take your ticket. It's in a main server. You just go in and work on ticket. You pick whatever you like and you work on it, right? It depends on each company. But if, let's say, a ticket is assigned to Alan, I can actually go in from the back end as a manager and see how long has Alan had this ticket, what he's been working, what he's been doing on a ticket. Has he ever opened the ticket and contact the user? I can all see that, right? Obviously, that make sure that you're accountable. You have to do your work. And if you don't, you have to talk to your team lead and ask them questions, talk to the users, and make sure everybody's aware. Because now everybody can see that's assigned to you. It creates some sort of accountability. You can never say, I don't know I had this work. There is no such thing as I don't know I had this work in IT. You know, everybody can see you know, you can see how you know too. If you cannot, if you think you don't have any work, it's your job to ask your manager or team lead, I don't have any work, is there something that I should be working on? Okay. Any question, guys?
Yes, I have one question regarding ticketing system.
Go ahead. Go
So
ahead.
is there any like a tool that we can use for the hand-on practice so that we can better detail we can understand the concept that how it's actually
Yes.
work on the.
We actually have a ticketing system that I'll let you guys work on, put in tickets, and then assign it to different people and see how that works for sure. There's a hands-on ticket. There's actually a portion in troubleshooting that will work on the ticketing system itself. You'll all get an account and you'll actually go in and you'll put in some tickets and you'll actually solve them, put in feedbacks and get some feedbacks from customers and everything too.
Okay, sir, that will be more exciting.
Yeah, for
Eager
sure.
to. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Like there's lots of ticketing system. Okay, there's tons. There's like I think 200, 300 different, but they all work on the same framework as ITIL has given them. ITIL has made that standard of ticketing system, and Zendesk, Freshdesk, ServiceNow, Jira, Spicework, and ServiceNow, and there's also OS Ticket, and there's a lot of them, but they all work on the same thing. As long as you understand how a ticketing system works, everything's the same thing, okay? And you tell them you already worked on ticketing system, you have experience, it's the exact same thing. You'll have hands-on experience before you leave from your ticketing system, okay? So you can put that on your resume. You have a live working hands-on experience on ticketing system, okay? On your resume.
One more question, sir. So is there any open source tool available for the ticketing
There is.
system or?
Yeah, there is.
Or
So the one
okay.
we're going to
Okay.
use in the class is called OS Ticket. It is open source, but we have it configured in our server. So it's called OS Ticket. You can actually OS Ticket. We have this installed on our servers and we run this, but this is what it is. But there's a paid one too, but we have the open source one installed on our thing for education purposes. This one. That's
Okay,
what
sir.
we'll give you access to. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Any other question, guys? Because ticketing system is how you're going to start your day and end your day, and how you're going to, part of your job is how they're going to judge if you actually do your job or if you did not, and if you should be getting a raise, if you should be, if you're solving the issues really often, or are you just saying I solved the issues and closing tickets, saying I've done it? We can actually see that. If you didn't do anything, the customers can reopen the ticket. They can actually say, no, this has now been done, and that is really bad. That's whenever you resolve your problem, you would actually confirm with the user saying that, hey, has the issue been resolved? Can I close the ticket? You always do that. That's the reason why when you call Rogers or Bell and say you're having a problem, they will call you back and confirm if the issue has been resolved. It's because they don't want you to call back and say it's not resolved. It's very bad on the person who have closed it. It's actually very bad. It's because now it says you're not serving the customer, you're just there to close the ticket. Trust me, how many tickets you close is also counted, but it's also if you close 10 tickets, 2 weeks later, if 10 of them gets 5 of them gets reopened, that looks even bad on you than delaying the tickets and closing it. Okay, it depends on each team. Talk to your team lead specifically on how you confirm it. Some companies will ask the user must confirm by email saying that the ticket has been resolved, the issue has been resolved, and they can close it. Some companies can say if you're done and the user does not get back to you within 3 days, you can close the ticket. Depends on each company, but you can definitely talk to your team lead, okay? But always make sure before you close the ticket, the issue is resolved. 99% of the companies will work the same way. There is some company that does just purely for like a lot of third-party consultant companies will just do because they want to show this close ticket. That's what you want, okay? But that's obviously it's a different business ethics, but it depends on the company you work for, okay? Any question, guys? Awesome. Okay, remember we talked about incident, okay? Part of our service request, and then we had our thing, right? So this is part of the incident, okay? So what is an incident? Incident is an unplanned interruption or a reduction in quality of IT service. Examples like I cannot connect to Wi-Fi, email's not sending, printer's not responding, blue screen's on startup, I can't log in, internet's not working for me. Those things those are it's affecting me. but you can resolve the issues very quickly, and I can start working again, right? So it's something that you can quickly resolve by yourself. It's not something. It's very, not everybody having the same issue. It's something that's happened to me or individual user itself. Okay, it's because I forgot the password, or I tried the password too many times, that account is locked, or my computer, maybe the home Wi-Fi is just turned off. It's specifically to one person or one issue or one type of issue. Okay. What is a problem is, a problem is underlying cause of one or more incidents. So a problem gets only triggered when a same incident happens one or more times. Sometimes it has to be 3 or more times. Sometimes it has to be 4 or more times. Depends on the company you work for. Okay, so whenever you go in, the first thing whenever you go in, you can ask is, in your standards, I know ITIL recommends 1 to 3 consider as an incident or problem. 1 to 3 incidents considered a problem. What is your view on a problem, or what is your view on how a problem gets classified, right? And they'll tell you, okay, we consider 3 or more same incidents can be considered a problem, and these are things that we do. And you can ask them, what is the steps you do on when a problem triggers. They might have something called problem advisory board. Like, they have a board that just deals with problem itself. And they deal with problems, right? But it depends on each company. We'll go slightly into the more technical details when we go into troubleshooting steps or ITIL, and then we'll see that. But its problem is 1 or more incident, same type of incidents. Okay, say different people have reported it, same incident. Okay, frequent printer crashes due to a faulty driver. Regular login issues caused by corporate updates. Those are some of the issues. Okay, goal is to investigate why the incident happened, prevent it from happening again. Root cause analysis. Okay, that's what it does. Any question on this, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, give me one second. What is a service request? We talked about service request, from the beginning. It's when user asks for a new, not related to a failure. So they're asking for a product, so software, hardware, some sort of access as well. If they want to access an email account, if they want to get access to a file or folder, it has to do with something to do with requesting a new access, like anything, right? So they want something new into the account. Okay. But fully standard request efficiently and securely. Just because I ask that I need access to the HR folder, it doesn't mean that I need to get access to the HR folder. Okay, this is how it works in IT. If I ask you for a service request, somebody must approve it. If it's access related, right? So access to a folder, access to an email, access to a file, access to a website, something like that, right? Unless the CTO or CFO asks for it, and it has to be a specific CTO, right? Your company will have some rules. I know the government sectors that I've been working in, it doesn't matter. Even if the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, asks for access to IT, the CTO or director of IT has to approve it. They have to approve, saying, okay, yes, he can have access. It's because just because you can add anyone to the list. Just because you have a key to the file doesn't mean you can give it to anyone to borrow. Okay, because at the end of the day, let's say this, right? If Sunita, I asked Sunita, hey, can I get access to the HR folder? And she's like, okay, Alvin, because your manager here's access, right? She gives to me. At the end of the day, she's the one who's going to be in trouble because she should have asked permission from someone else to give me access, right? Who gave her the authority to give her the access? Just because she can give access does not mean she gives it out at candy. So you have to ask permission from someone else. It cannot be me. It can be my supervisor. So every manager has a supervisor who's a director, right? A director has a supervisor who's a CFO or VP, vice president, and vice president has a supervisor. And like usually the C class can approve each other. So if a CEO asks for permission, he usually can get access to everything, but your team lead will tell you if he can. But usually someone else have to approve the access. And we'll see how in Azure, there's a new function called ownership. You'll see when we go into hands-on stuff, how ownership will work. You can assign, HR can have an owner, IT can have an owner, sales can have an owner, management can have owners. So owners can approve it, and you can actually go and ask the owners for approval for giving access. And that way, you're not the one who's saying, okay, yeah, you go ahead, man, have access. It's someone else saying it. that, and it's never you who's getting accused for giving access to them, right? Let's say HR has salary packages, right, of other managers, and maybe I'm getting $20,000 less than what other managers are making. But if I find out, I can cause a lot of problems. I'd be like, no, I'm demanding. I need to have $30,000 more because you guys cheated me or something like that. I can cause damages, and if I don't need to have access to it, I don't need to see it. That's how it works. Okay, it's how the role access work is how my access should be working. When I say access is what I can see and what I can do with my login. Right, that's what access is. So if I should not be doing something, I don't need to be doing. For an IT manager, I only get access to what an IT manager should be doing. And that is determined by HR, the vice president, the director, the CFO, and all CEO, and all of them, right? They will specifically tell me what is Adlan as a manager can do and cannot do. And those are the things that I can get access to. If I need more, obviously I can ask. Okay, I can ask Sunita, hey, I need access to HR. What Sunita will do is she'll go request a director of HR or manager of HR saying, hey, Athavan is asking for this access. Maybe it's something to modify or something just to see. And if they say okay, then she gives me approval. If they say no, then she revokes saying, hey, they said no, can you go and talk to them and see? So it's never you, it's always someone else needs to approve, and you can always be like, it's not myself, somebody has to approve it, right? So you are never in place to make the decision on who gets what. It's always someone else who's superior to them or in the same are superior, usually superior to them or in the same rank as them. And your team lead will tell you, or usually when you go into a company, they'll have something called a company hierarchy table. So it'll look like something like this. I'll show you. uh, Yeah, so it'll look like this. So yeah, this is what. So we create this. It's called a lucid chart, or it's called a hierarchy chart, right? So imagine like this, right? So you guys can probably see this, right? So you'll have like the name and so usually not the name of the person, but they'll have the title. So like it'll be like IT manager of service delivery or something like that, or IT manager operations, and see who they report on top of it to. And this will be the CEO or president. This will be the vice president, and you'll see you get the point, right? But you'll see who's working under them, who's working on top of them, and what role they're playing, or what role they should be playing, and who they report up to. So they can be IT operations manager can be reporting to a financial manager as well, right? So it depends on the company structure. Usually they'll have a company hierarchical tree. If they don't, your team lead can give you access to it, or he can tell you about it. Okay, clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay, let's do this. Let's take a 10 minutes break. Let's say it's 7:25 right now. Let's come back here at 7:35. Okay. Let's
Okay,
take
sir.
a break and let's take a water break. Okay. Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So I just released the exam code and the date to you guys, so you guys should be able to, once you're done the course, you guys can do it. You have until next week, Tuesday, 11:55 p.m. Okay, to complete it. If you're having any issues, please contact me before that. If you contact me on Tuesday, tell me you can't do it, I'm not going to help you. Okay, just to get you guys, just to let you guys know.
So
Yeah,
what what exam, sir?
quiz, not exam. Sorry, I did an exam, so it's this one over here. So
Oh,
let me turn this off here. So it's your first one over here. Okay, so that quiz one. So when you go in, you'll see quiz one over here. This one.
okay. So we can complete it anytime?
Yeah, anytime until next week, Tuesday, 11:55 p.m.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem. Okay, so let's get back in here. So we just talked about, okay, so summary, what's the difference? Okay, so incident, so this is what we call a summary table. Okay, what's the difference? Incident, something broken, triggered by something broken. Goal, restore service. Example, email won't send. Okay, a problem, multiple incidents, find a root cause and prevent it. Server crashes every Monday, or hundreds of users cannot log in at 8 a.m. It's something that's consistently happening, and we need to get that fixed. But we need to figure out why it's happening to fix it permanently, right? Service request: a user needs something, fulfill a request. Goal is to fulfill a request, like requesting access to a VPN, requesting access to a software, requesting access to a file or folder, requesting access for a new monitor, new computer, new laptop. It's anything that's they're asking for, right? Anything that's they're newly asking for. It doesn't mean they'll get everything. Somebody has to approve it, obviously, but it's they're asking for something new they don't have. Okay. Any questions so far, guys?
No, sir.
Perfect. Very good. Soft skill that matters. Okay. Communication and active listening. Clear communications uses simple, jargon-free languages, maintain a respectful and professional tone. Active listening, let the user speak without interruption. Paraphrase to confirm understanding. Ask clarifying questions when necessary. So when it means by paraphrasing is, let's say I'm saying, hey, I'm just not able to log into my computer. I'll log into my account, right? What you can say is, hey, Ataman, I just want to confirm with you. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying you cannot log into your computer or your email. Can you just confirm that for me? Now you have asked the question you necessarily need. Is it a computer or is it an email account you're trying to log into, or what account, right? So, but you're saying in a very respectful, very very professional tone, and you're not insulting the user. Just keep this in mind. They don't have to be right, and they don't have to give you the right answer to. Okay, they're not technical user. You're the one. It's your job to extract information. Just like when you go into a doctor's office, right? If you say you're having a headache, they will ask you a set of questions to diagnose you to see what's the issue is, right? They don't expect you to know you're having a left conterna, middle of the pain or something like that. But they would ask you a set of questions to come up with it. It's because you don't need to know. You're not a doctor. You never studied to become a doctor, right? You're just an average human being. You're just there to get your problem resolved and get out, right? So that's exactly what it is, right? So talk to them respectfully. They don't need to know, so you will have to extract information from them so you can come up with a better diagnosis to fix the issue. Okay. And ask clarifying question. If you're not sure, ask them. Hey, I'm so sorry. I just want to ask you this. Is this what you're trying to do? Can you just? And if you're not sure, ask them to walk you through it. Can you just walk me through what you're trying to do? There's some tools that you can use. We'll talk about it. Even if the user is not in front of you, you can actually log in as them and see what they're doing. Right? In 80% of the scenarios. Okay. I'll tell you what exact scenarios what I'm talking about. Example, so if I understand correctly, the issue begins after the recent updates. So like they can be asking you, my computer is not turning on, or I'm not able to, boot my computer up, right? You can ask, is it because of after the updates, or, is it because after a certain incident happened? When did it start happening, is there certain things that, you think that may have caused it? You're trying to extract information much as possible so you can better align them to a different, what we call as a bucket technology. We'll go to it when we go into when we go into troubleshooting a little bit, even a little bit down the road. We use something called bucket technology, bucket techniques to correctly see what line of issue that it could be, so you can better go down the road of the better path. Okay, that's what it's for. Empathy and patience. Okay, empathy: acknowledge the user's feeling, show them and show understanding and concerns. Okay, so if they come up and say, okay, I can't log in to do my work, but like, hey, I understand, man. I know it's frustrating. Let me take care. Let me take care of you, right? Be very supporting to them. Be very empathy, right? I understand the concern. Be like, hey, I know, man, it's very frustrating. You're trying to just do your job. Let me see what I can do to resolve this issue as soon as possible so you can get back to work. You want to make sure you're providing confidence, and you understand their frustration too. A lot of times when customers are very users are customers, there's two different tones that I'll use. One is a user, one is a customer. Okay, user. Let's say if you're working for a hospital, right? People that works for the hospital will be considered users because they're working for the hospital and you're working for the hospital, right? So you guys both are in the same working company. Whereas if you're working at Bell or Rogers, customers are calling you, right? And they're asking you to provide support. Those are customers. They're outside the company itself. Okay, those are two different tones here. But it doesn't matter who's calling you, customer or user. You want to make sure you empathize with them, you connect with them. That way, even if they're frustrated and they're being very very aggressive, very thing, but because of your calm toner and you're telling them that you will take care of them and you're there to make sure they're resolved, their anger will go down. This is what's called anger diversion, or um, de-escalations. So these are de-escalation techniques that we use when users are frustrated. Make sure that you understand, you hear them out, right? You understand that their issue is not there. It's nothing personal. They just want to do their work, and you're here to make sure they do their work. Okay, you'll do everything that's in your line to make sure they can do their work. Okay. Remain calm even if the user is frustrated. It's your calmness that will pass on to the user, right? So I'll tell you, before, when I was in the armed forces, I had a lot of anger management issue. Okay, so I would get very easily mad. Everything will trigger me, right? People waiting in line, people not going. But after becoming more customer oriented, even if they yell at me, I just smile at them and think, like, that person's probably having a bad day. That's the reason why they're yelling at me, right? For me, I might seem like rude because I'm laughing at them, I'm smiling at them, but end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Once you start taking nothing personally, it'll never hit you, okay? Because at the end of the day, you're doing your job, and you're not getting yelled at. It's because it's not your failure. It's a system failure. You can't do anything, right? You're there to resolve. Stay calm. Users will be frustrated, but as long as you assure them you'll take care of them, stay calm. We'll take care of you. They will be de-escalating a bit. Okay. Provide step-by-step guidance without rushing. Sometimes you will just do it for them. You'll show them how it's done. You'll do it for them. In most cases, you cannot do it for them. You can walk them through the steps of how to do it. Okay, but talk to them like how you would, give a very, very specific instructions. If somebody was to come and ask me, and you guys will understand how this will work too, is, okay, how do I get my IP address right off my computer? If I want to remote connect, we'll go through that when we go networking. We'll see what IP address is if you're not sure. But to get the IP address from someone, you have to give them exact instructions. So what I tell them is, on your keyboard, can you see beside the control on the left, there's a small window icon. So it'll be a 4 square icon. If they click on it, they'll get a start menu. You see, like what you see in my screen. And hey, in your start menu, can you type as C as in Charlie, M as in Mary, D as in Dave, and you'll see command prompt come up. Can you click enter for me? So you'll see a black screen that's opened up on your desktop, right? Now it'll be a black screen with the flashing line. So in there, can you type in I as in India, P as in Papa, C as in Charlie, O as in Owl, N as in Nancy, F as in Fang, I as in India, G as in girl, IP config, and can you click enter? And can you tell me what you see the numbers beside IPv4 address? And you see how I'm just doing it, but you can do it yourself too when you talk, when you tell them, right? So you can see how it should be exactly done. But when you ask them, can you guys tell me, one of you guys unmute yourself and tell me what number do you guys see beside IPv4 address, please?
Sorry, sir. Please repeat the question.
Yeah, if I was to ask, if you're a customer and I'm asking you, hey, can you tell me what is an IPv4 address you see?
Um, 192, 168, 50 dot 56.1,
And I'm gonna ask you, hey, is there another one that's there? Is there another IPv4 address?
86.1. That is default gateway.
Yeah, IPv4 address.
Oh, okay. 192, 168.86.30.
Very good. So I would actually write those two down when you tell me, and I'll try one of them to connect. But we'll go into more of these. But this is how exactly the way that I would tell users to go in. And it's very straightforward. It's very easy. Look at your keyboard. There's a Windows icon there. Press that. Type CMD. Charlie. Because a lot of people cannot hear sometimes properly CNP. Those hard words. So when you give them the phonical words, it'll be very easy. C for Charlie, M for Mary, D for Dave. Something that's very connectable, right? So it's very clear for them to understand. Okay, and
Yeah,
sometimes
actually, I'm facing this type of trouble on daily basis as I'm working with the non-tech domain. So, on daily basis, when I talking to the customer and like receiving call from the parents, and when I tell to them, please, you have to download this file, and moms are like, "What is download?
Mhm.
Where to
Yeah, yeah. And how do you actually walk around? How do you actually go around from doing that? How do you actually make them to download the file?
Yeah, so like I try my best to guide them with step by step. There is a folder, like there is a folder. Then you have to right click. You have to download. Even they don't know what is printer, what is file. Like sometimes it's really annoying situation to guide the customer with small steps, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. But here's the thing, right? Because they don't need to know. Right,
Yeah,
so that's why it's one of those things like we can expect them to know because it's so simple for us,
yeah.
but we so what I do is I run in the weekends seniors computer class, right? So
Mhm.
you'll start building patience when you start dealing with those type of customers because it's genuinely they don't know. It's not they're not trying, genuinely they don't know, right? And sometimes when you wake up so early in the morning, for me too, when I look at the sometimes when I'm doing server reports, like it's sometimes we have to do it at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., right? So I'd wake up around 2 a.m. to make sure it's done properly. And when
Mhm.
I'm looking at it, it could be right in front of my eyes, but I can't see it. I don't know where it is, right? And it's so annoying because I have to tell them, my team has to come in and be like, hey, just, I didn't have my coffee. For me, I have to have coffee right in the morning. If I don't,
Yeah.
my team will not wake up.
And
So,
I remember that lady wasted my 22 minutes over the call just to download the file and upload in the folder. I was like to pulling my hairs.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what? You're going to face that, right? That's, it's part of our job. But what's you're going to find the trend is, as long what I like to do is what I teach people to do is when they're doing it, you do it with them too. I mean, you do it in your computer too to,
Mhm.
to actually see how it's done because sometimes the clicks might change. So
Right.
I always tell them, look at the bottom screen. You're gonna see a small windows. Like just how you would do it is how I explain. So sometimes it gets easier, and
Mhm.
as the job progresses, you'll start to understand how you can talk to users and what is the easiest way to tell them. Right? It's very good because when you start teaching like very clients that doesn't have like no computer knowledge,
Mhm.
you'll actually learn a lot too because like you're saying, oh, this is another way I can tell them. This is another way I can tell them, right? This is how you build your teaching abilities. It's very good. You can learn how to teach people because once you start putting it down so like to people who doesn't know how to use it and you make them use it, oh my god, the level of knowledge you gain from it is enormous.
Yeah. I think when you start teaching, then you put more attention to words to yourself that I have to prepare myself in better ways so that
Yeah,
anybody can ask any type of question. So I have to prepare myself as 100% so that I can give my 100%.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. And also sometimes they might you can tell them that same way 100 times they might not able to do it. So, but
Yeah.
you get creative in showing how to do it separate way. Another way
Yeah.
that might be
Like
slightly easier, and you'll be like, oh yeah, this is something easy for me to do, right? So
you
and then
will create scenarios in your mind that what type of
yeah,
questions student can ask to me so that I
yeah,
can prepare myself, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, guys. Very good. Dealing with frustrated users, you'll get a lot of this. Okay, over the calls, people will yell at you. People will be like, "Just do your job. I just want to do my job." They'll yell at you because end of the day, they might have a report that's submitting. It could be something their job is hanging on the line, right? So they're very frustrated. So like keeping your tone calm and composed, and be very professional and be very friendly about it, right? Don't be a what we call a don't be a a rude person where they're not mad at you. They just want to get their work done, right? So de-escalate the situation. Make sure you actively listen. Tell them, okay, let them vamper out, right? Tell them, hey, you know what? I understand all your frustrations. Let me take care of you. Trust me, I'll make sure you're working before you think it's my job to make sure you're done. Assure them that you're there to take care of them, right? As long as they understand there's someone that's one is listening to them, two that's genuinely concerned about the issue they're facing, three, there someone is going to look after them. They're taking accountability. You say you can depend on me. I'll take accountability on this. I will follow up. I'll follow up with any other team that I need to and make sure this is resolved. Now they're very pleased that somebody's taking care, although it can be delayed. Now you can contact them back and keep them up to date. If something is delayed, hey, I've talked to the networking team. You know what they're saying that the technician is not until next week. I will make sure when they're in next week, you're the first person that's on the list to get it so they can get done, and I will follow up with you to make sure it's done as well. And I'll give you a call and I'll make sure, right? So now they're understanding somebody's actually concerned about the issue, even though there's 1 week delay. But you said you will make sure that they do the job first, and you will actually follow up with the user to make sure. Now what this builds is you're now becoming a part of the system itself. You're not just an IT help desk level one. Now you're part of the whole company structure itself, right? Now people will start remembering you. You'll become more important. You'll be the person that everybody wants to talk to, and that is what a good thing is. Now a lot of works comes there because now everybody depends on you. You showed that you can do 10. You can never do 9 things now. You can always do 10 or higher, right? But it puts you in a nice situation to learn. This is why I said 2 to 3 years of dedication is once the 6 months mark, when you become very, very friendly and you're there to do your work 100%, 200%, people will start loving you and people will start treating you very well. I gained over 60 pounds when I went into hospital because people loved me. Okay, and I would get foods delivered to me, donuts, chocolates. You won't believe it. When I go into cafeteria, I would literally get stuffed with fried rice and everything just for free. It's because people loved IT
Right.
people because they're problem solvers. At the end of the day, you're solving something they think it's godly, right? So, but it shows the level of love you have towards your work.
Mhm.
Okay. And trust me, it took me a long time to lose that 60, 70 pounds, man. Holy shit, I'm still losing. I have to eat just chicken breast and bottles of water and coffee, black coffee. But it's all worth it, right? Because you know why? I'm not saying overeating is worth it, but it's a love that people show us towards you, right? You'll feel very special.
Right. And
Oh,
from how long you been in Canada? Like,
I came here 2005, so
oh,
over 20 years.
oh my God.
Yeah, 20 years. Wow. Yeah, 20
Uh,
years flew by.
so you're back home India is
Sri Lanka, but I grew up in India, Chennai.
Chennai. Oh,
I'm
that's
from
good.
Sri Lanka, southern Sri Lanka, northern part, Jaffna, so Tamil.
Tamil.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good to know.
Okay. But yeah, I've been here for 20 years. But you know what? I really took my job very seriously after coming from a military sector.
Hmm.
And it took me only 3 years to excel into where I'm right now. Where 3 years of very hard, dedicated work, and then after 5, 6 years, right? But it's when you start strategizing it, you can't just go. What they say is you can't when they teach us in the army is you can't just expect to take a gun and go in and shoot and be winning, right?
Hmm.
You'll get shot and you'll get killed. But you go in with strategy, right? You think about it, right? You go in and see what is wrong, what you can do to help, and you figure out how do you actually put yourself in the system. So the system needs you to, operate. Basically, you become part of the system itself. So they can never pull you out and be like, "Hey, it's so easy to replace you." There's, you know what, you're getting paid 75,000. I can get someone right off of college, train them, and put you in
Hmm.
the same spot as them, right? They can never replace you is because now you're part of the system itself. The system revolves around you. You're now a center of access for the system. That's
So
how
basically, yeah. So basically, you had completed some study in Canada.
from grade, I want to say grade 6 to my college.
Oh,
Yeah, so I don't have a bachelor's degree, so being very honest, I
mm,
never right now if you ask me, I don't know if I would have got it, but I never got my bachelor's degree, but I have my college diploma from Durham College, where I'm
okay.
director of cloud computing. So this college I studied it, I'm director of cloud computing there.
Okay. So basically, you have better idea that what's the IT market in Canada, right?
I wouldn't say I have if you ask me, do I only am I the only person who has like IT knowledge? No, but I think I have enough knowledge to guide you in the right path if you want to work hard for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and like strategizing is very simple. What's hard is you to follow it.
Right.
Even for me, like I said, when I come from military sector, it's you can't find any jobs. Nobody wants to take a person who's coming from army because it's yes or no. There is no in between, and that's how I've been. It's either yes or it's either no or fuck off. Sorry,
Right. Right. Right.
those are three things that I talk, and I'm
Mhm.
very straightforward. And I tell you right to the face if I can't do it, I can't do it, right? But things change when you come into civilian life, right? Everything changes. You have to adapt and you have to survive. And for you to survive, you can be an average Joe, or you can actually do some hard work and become the superior of yourself, right? So the only reason why I'm the director of the college I am is
Mhm.
because the person who's in charge of so I don't know if I can say it, but at the time when I was doing my graduation, I was not a very smart kid.
Mhm.
I'm a smart kid, but I don't like doing overwork. So if I need only 65% to pass, I'm only getting 65. I know just to get 65, I don't do anything after that. So the
Right.
teacher did not like me, and one of the dean did not like me. So he refused to take a photo with me. I think I didn't really want to take a photo, but he insulted me in front of people, and he put me away here down college. And that day, I took a vote. If I'm going to come back, I'm going to come back here as director. I'm the director. He now
Okay.
works. Um, so things work, right? But it's the ego you have in yourself, right? And the fire you have in yourself. I swear I never planned at that time he's going to work under me. I never planned,
Oh.
but once I came back, it just hit me that hit me hard, very hard. When I thought about it, I think one day I was just sitting on the beach. I was just thinking about it, like, where is life taking me, right? And I
Mhm.
thought about, okay, this is where I want to go in 5, 6 years. I want to be a director, and I just thought about what do I have to do to become a director, and I worked my way myself there, right? But the 3 years, trust me, even right now, I don't see my sister. My sister is 1920. The
Oh.
last week I saw her, and I thought, holy shit, you got a little chubbier. I seriously, this is what I told her, and I live in the same household, but I don't
Oh.
get to see them. I wake up at 5:30 and I come back at 10. So today is one of the days I'm here early in my house, but usually I have another office that I stay. I there and I come here at 10. But it's how much can you I know I have 50 years ahead of me, but if I can sacrifice my 5 years to have a 50 years, that's my choice, right? I'm not saying everybody should do that, but you lose some stuff, yes, family events and those type of thing, but you'll far superiorly pay me, in the future. If I'm
Yeah.
not, as I said, like, you do lose a lot of things. Like, I've lost, a lot of friends, I've lost a lot of people in my life, but it's the things that you take, right, to fulfill your dreams, and it is hard. It's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. Same situation is happening with me right now. Like I'm in meeting with you, and my husband came to home. He just saw me that okay, that she is busy, and she shut the door, and now he's sleeping. That he knows that he needs to get up early in the morning, 2 or 3 a.m.
Wow.
So this is actual life in Canada that everybody knows about it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I say this is what I tell you. And I've seen people who truly dedicate themselves. Within 5 or 6 years, they have a very good life. And trust me, like 5 years ago, who I am, 5 even 6 years ago, who I am and who I am right now is different, totally different. And
Yeah.
financial wise, career wise, business wise, I'm a different person. It's because of the sacrifices I think I've made. It's made me a better person. Did I lose some? Yes, but did I gain a lot? Yes. So it's a hit or miss. You have to lose some things to gain some things, right? And one of the things that I want to tell you guys is there's some people at work that'll tell you, I don't want to do overtime work. You have to pay
Mhm.
me for overtime work. Okay. So I'll tell you this right now. If you're going to get certification, let's say if you come and talk to your manager, be like, hey, I want to do the certification, make them to pay for it. Don't pay out of your pocket. Meaning, they'll tell you if you pass it, I'll pay you. That's fine. You pay for it, you pass it, you go and get the certificate, they'll pay you. The reason why you want to do this is they will give you the opportunity to work on certification. If you just randomly come up and be like, hey, Adon, I got a server plus, can I now work on server? I'll be like, go and do your work. I'm not even going to entertain that, because I don't need you to do server work. I need you to now go ahead and create those 200 accounts. But whereas if I paid for it, now I have to tell my management, that
Right.
$500 I paid for you. I have to say, okay, I paid for Sunita for the server maintenance. They'll ask you at the end of the year, so you paid for it. What type of server work has she done? Has she shadowed anyone? You might not work on it right away, but I'll actually give you the opportunity, because server work or anything that's in the server network cloud, anything that happens after hours. And there's some people who says, oh, you have to pay me for it. I'll be like, no, just go home. That's fine. It's because there's two ways you can get learning. Okay, one is you pay for the learning, or you pay in time in learning, right? So those things they cannot pay you because you're not providing any service to the business, but you can sit there and watch what they're doing. That's how you learn, and then you slowly get introduced into the system. And you start slowly doing some things, and then work your way up, right? So if there is, that's why I said the dedication of 2 to 3 years, you'll start doing this type of work, and the team will start appreciating you because you're now part of a team player. You're not saying, oh, I have to go home and do this. Even if you're working from home, just be like, you take yourself 2 3 hours, put yourself isolated, do the work, complete the work, and go and do your work, right? So go and do your housework, right? So and your sleep will be destroyed. Trust me. But it's part of the process of growth.
Right, right. So in which college, like, are you working?
Durham College,
Dermacal.
yeah,
Okay, okay, okay.
Durham College, and I do Seneca sometimes. Fleming
Semi.
College.
Yeah.
So Fleming College has a lot of they teach for law enforcement. So cyber intelligence, or what they call is threat hunting or cyber intelligence. They have different course names.
Related to like cyber security, right?
Yeah, cybersecurity, and they also have the law enforcement has a separate sector, but they do there's another course. It's called cyber investigation. So I'm more specialized in cyber investigation and counterintelligence and those type of things, right? So that's a course that I teach, and that's where I'm more known for. And
So
now,
what's your suggestion if any newcomer comes in Canada?
Mhm.
Do they need to join like as we all are joining your session?
Mhm.
Like, do newcomers join you kind of people, or do they need to join colleges?
Okay, so I'll be very honest with you. Okay, here, if you have the time and dedication, go to a college. Okay.
Okay.
But even though you have a college, do the certification in between your college times and get the certifications like Microsoft, CompTIA,
Mhm.
whatever it is, right? And then when you go into the job fold, do a co-op placement. Do not skip the co-op placement. Obviously, not a lot of people have the luxury of paying, so when you come in, you might have to pay, 3 times or 4 times amount, right? Not a lot of people have the luxury of it, right?
Mhm.
In that case, then join an institute that can properly guide, not just myself, somebody that can properly guide you, and they can tell you exactly what the certifications you need to get, and they can point you in the right direction, right? Either or.
Mhm.
Or if you want to study by yourself, get some good certifications, and even try to do some co-op placement if you can. Call up some companies and ask for co-op placement. Nowadays, a lot of companies are not doing co-op placement. Even myself, I'm trying to reach out to different organizations for you guys to do at least 1 or 2 months free co-op placement there. It's still a very beneficial, when you go in. But it just they don't want to do co-op placement anymore. It's just getting so low. They just don't want to waste time anymore, right? So that's the reason why I'm trying my best, level best, even with the government organizations. We even 3 batches before we sent a couple of people to Ontario Shores. So it worked very well. But what happens is when they go in, they don't treat this as work.
Mhm.
They think it's just a free place they're going in, right? When you're going there as a co-op placement to government agencies, you're there working like everyone else. You're there at 8, you're leaving at 5. There is no exceptions. You can't come in late because you're a co-op placement, right? You're treated, and you have to treat it like a job. So, and that's the reason why the discipline is very important in this sector.
Okay.
Everybody watches you, and nobody tells you they're watching you. If you're late by 10 minutes frequently, and this happened, like three batches ago, I think, beginning of last year, I think there was a very good high hiring sprees. Everybody, almost like I think 75% of the people got jobs, and there's a good, very very nice young man. He got a job at Scotiabank. He was working there. He was getting $25 an hour. It's a contract position for 3 months, and they said they'll extend to full time if he done very well. 1 week he went very fine. 2 weeks he was going very good. Third week he started coming in late, like 8 o'clock work. He would come in 8:10. They didn't say anything, and he would go a little bit early. They didn't say anything. He would take frequent breaks to go on his phone, always on his headsets. Always on a phone call. They didn't like it. Third week or fourth week, I think they fired him. And they came to me and he asked me, hey, they fired me. What can I do to get the job? And I was so surprised because he did very well in course and he was there always at. I think at that time we were doing 6 to 9, I think, as well. He was there at 6. He was asking questions and everything. I didn't know, right? Because I thought maybe because what he said was, like I didn't know anything. They just fired me. I think they just didn't like me. But I followed up with the recruiter, and then we followed up with the Scotiabank hiring managers. And it seems like what they told me is very shocking, because like I asked him, I was like, what time were you going? And he's like, sometimes 5-10 minutes late. That's not. It's just not acceptable. And I tell this to everyone, like, you guys, when you guys go to work, if it's 8 o'clock, be there at 7:30, 7:45. Show for the first 6 months, 1 year, you're there to learn. Your time is there is to learn, and come in early, leave late, as much as possible. And that way you show the dedication. You're there to do work. Obviously sometimes shit happens, but be proactive. That's why even to class, if you guys are gonna be delayed, you guys should be putting there on the group saying that, hey, I'm gonna be delayed by 30 minutes. 30 minutes before, not after the class starts. It's being proactive. It's just for you. It's not for me or anything. It's a respect to your team, right? So it could be emailing the team, or WhatsApping them, messaging your manager, hey, I'm just running a bit late, but I'll be there at my ETAs this time. Don't do it often, but you need to be proactive, right? But if you don't, people are going to ask you. But you can slowly start skipping away and come in 10 minutes, 15 minutes late. But they'll check and they'll know. And within the 3 months, they'll fire you. Within 3-4 weeks, it's easy to replace you, right? At this point, so they won't even bother, this person. And we told them straight up, and like, this is something that I can only teach you how to do. I can't fix the behavior. This is behavior pattern issue. We can't do anything with that. It's because some people, they have this, when they get used to it, they just get very, very lenient, right? So at first they're very good, and then once they get used to the environment, they're comfortable with the environment. And I think everybody's a friend. At work, everybody's a friend, but with a pinch of salt, right? So just always take that. Okay.
Right, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay, very good. Class objective for this is outlined today's. This section is about understanding virtual machines, remote access, and learning how business uses their tools safely and efficiently. Okay. Operating system. Introduction to operating system. Just before we go into operating system, does anyone have any questions so far on what the things we covered? Do you guys want to take a 10 minutes break before we go into operating system? I just want to see here. Okay, not a lot of slides, just about 30 more slides. That's okay. If you guys want to take a 10 minutes break and we can finish the class at 9:10, I think we'll be done.
Yeah, sure. Okay, sir.
Okay, let's take a 10 minutes break, okay? So it's 8:10 right now, 8:20 we'll meet, okay?
Yep. Okay.
Thank you guys.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, guys. All right, let's continue our operating system class. So this is going to be about, sorry, this is about operating system, okay? OS. That's what we say in technical term. Operating system is OS, okay? So we're going to cover Windows, Linux, and Mac OS, okay? They're all, obviously, they're all working the same basics. I'm going to show you guys a little technical diagram of how this works, okay? So when you click the power on your computer, there's actually a small chip that's called a BIOS chip. Okay, I'll show you how that it looks like on your laptop or desktop. So there's actually a chip that it looks like this on your computer. Like when you open it up, you can see something like this. I'll show you a better view of it. Okay, so it looks something like this. It's a small chip on your desktop. Okay, it looks something like this. Some desktop will have 3, 4. Some desktop will have only 1. Laptops usually has only 1 chip. Okay, this chip, what it stores is a small set of instructions. It tells the computer where things are, like USBs. How many USB does a computer can take? Does the computer have VGA? Like what type of VD output does it have? HDMI, VGA, DVI type of thing. Okay. What type of video output does it have? What type of input device can take, like CD drive or anything like that? And it also checks for what type of, where does the operating system located at? If there's a hard drive, in the hard drive, where is the operating system is located, or if there's a hard drive available. Okay, it just basically address books of all the hardware components in your desktop. Okay, this is how the computer starts. It sends, as soon as you press the power, it sends a signal to the BIOS chip, tells it to turn on and start the boot device process. Okay, so it goes to the boot device over here. Your computer will, your BIOS will check to see if there's a hard drive, or you want to boot from a USB drive, or you want to boot from a CD. Okay, usually in a normal working computer, you'll boot into the hard drive. Okay, soon as the BIOS passes the hard drive, what it does is BIOS will check if there's something called a bootloader. Okay, so the bootloader, if it exists, then the BIOS will go to sleep and the bootloader will take on the job. And then it'll try to find the operating system, and then it'll boot something called the kernel. And kernel is basically a playground, like almost like a platter where it holds the system process and user space. Meaning where, you know how the desktop you're seeing like the Windows icon and everything here, you know, these icons all are in a kernel. So that's what this is, a basic boot process. Okay, if any of these goes wrong, then your system will crash. If it says no operating system, that means the BIOS cannot locate the bootloader for it to, locate. Okay, any computer you take, Linux, Windows, Mac OS, does not matter. This is the exact same process it follows. Okay, if it fails anything over here, your computer will not start. If it fails anything over here, also your computer will not start. Some of the issues that you'll face if it tells you hard drive could not be found or boot media could not be found, boot device cannot be found, it means that your BIOS cannot see your hard disk, USB drive, or CD drive. Or if your USB drive is plugged in, it's thinking that let me boot into the USB drive. Okay. Any question there, guys?
No, sir.
Okay, right. So 3 type of operating system that's there in the universe, in the world we're living in, that's predominantly used is Windows OS, Linux OS, and Mac OS X. So Windows OS is developed by Microsoft and most widely used in desktop operating system. Okay, OSs, user friendly interfaces, compatible with most software and games, users in all corporate environment. Okay, so this is what they use in almost 98% of the corporate environment. Now there is a 2% gap. I'll tell you what they use. Okay, the 1%, the other 2%, 1% is Linux and 1% is Mac OS. Okay, I'll tell you why they use Linux. So Linux is open source and free. It can never be charged. It's always free. Okay, used in servers, deployments, developments, and security fields. Okay, highly customizable with many distribution like Ubuntu, Fedora, And there's lots: Ubuntu, Fedora, Kali. There's a lot of Linux. Okay, but it's 100% free. It's developed by open source. Okay, anybody can go in, modify. The code is there for you to go and modify. Okay, used in corporate server. So what is the server is? If you think about it, think about it like this. Think about a master and slave. Okay, in a corporate environment, you need to have control over all asset, meaning all computer, cell phones, network device, whatever it is. Okay, if you want to have a control over it, you have to have something called a master device, and the master device is called server. So it basically has the capability to control all devices. Okay, all device connect to it to do any sort of work. If that device fails, then this device does not work. Your slave device, so which means your laptop, your desktop, whatever normal user people use, will not be able to work. The server was built because think of it like this: if there's 300 people, 3,000 computers in your workplace, right, and you need to create a user account, and that user might need to work one day at one office and go to another office and log into another computer. You don't want to create that user account in 3,000 different computers, right? Whereas if you can just create this one server, main server, which is the master server, and that can get passed down to your slave computers, your desktop laptops. And soon as it can see that main server, it could be anywhere in the world, as long as it can see the server, which we'll see how it works in the networking section. But as soon as it sees that, it knows that that account exists and you can log in. That's how when you go into study in colleges or when you go and study in school, your user account, you log into any of the campus computer and it'll still work. Okay, that's how it works. It works based off server and master. Master and slave configuration. The server acts like a master and your computer acts like a slave. Okay. Mac OS, developed by Apple, as you guys know, known for the sleek design, stability, and security. It exclusively runs on Apple device, meaning you cannot install this on other computers other than Macs very easily. There is some hacks you can do to install on Windows computer too, but it doesn't work as smoothly as it's supposed to. But it's mainly designed to work on Apple-made devices. Okay. Typically not used in companies unless it's meant for specific tasks. That 1% reason why they use it is for creative work. Mac computers work the best for, as you guys know, a lot of like editing, video editing, music editing, a lot of like creative work industry, like drawing, those type of things, they use Mac OS. Is because the build it works very good with the creative softwares. Like a low-end Mac can even do a video editing. Okay, it's because it's built with that type of work and design, so it's very capable. It might be expensive for normal people, right? Like myself or you're like some of you, but for someone who's doing video editing or if for that particular level of work, it's the best option they can have. That's the reason why a lot of people go with work MacBook or Apple related product for creative work. If you guys know, like video editing, game editing, game making, those type of things, they go typically with the Mac computer. It's because of it's designed to work with those type of softwares. Okay. Any questions so far, guys? Okay. What is a Windows OS? Windows is a commercial operating system developed by Microsoft. First released in 1985, most widely used in desktop operating system in the world, known for ease of use, wide software compatibility, and gaming support. Why learn Windows? Dominates the business and education environment. Core operating system for help desk analysts like yourself, admins, and end user support. So pretty much it falls for you. Pretty much all the companies you work for will have Windows computer, Windows server. Okay. Remember the Linux server I said is 1% is because it's only servers used in the very, very high-end companies. Very, very high-end companies. Okay. Mid-size, even large companies don't use Linux server. It's very, very high-end computing. Not a lot of people knows how to maintain it. So it's very expensive to maintain, but it's very secure. But it's only used in enterprise level computing, like Google, Lenovo, Dell type of companies will use that as their server computer. Okay, but they'll still use like a Windows for mainly everyone to use, like for normal users, or even their help desk and service desk, or even the IT admins will use Windows computer. Okay. integrates with Active Directory. Now, we'll look at Active Directory more in depth, but Active Directory is basically, it's like an address book. Think of like address book for where everything's located. So from a user account, all the user account of the companies will be in Active Directory. Computers will be in Active Directory. Cell phones can be now in part of Active Directory as well, but everything can be controlled from one location. So it is a centralized location for everything to be controlled from. Office 365 is, as you guys know, it's Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Now they have moved from an application to a software-based service, right? Like SaaS. Remember we talked about SaaS, so it falls into SaaS. Okay. Azure is now replacing anything physically we need into cloud-based. We will talk a little bit more about this in our virtual machine and cloud computing class. You'll have a very good understanding of this, and you'll have a hands-on experience with Azure. Okay, pretty much all of Azure. And Exchange. Exchange is just email services. This has basically been replaced by Office 365. Exchange used to be old, but now it's Office 365. Okay. Required knowledge for IT certifications is like CompTIA, Microsoft. There's also one other certification which I don't have in mind. So AWS. There's GCP. AWS is Amazon Web Services. GCP is Google Cloud Platform. Okay, those are some of the things, certifications. But if you want to get the certification that's meant for Microsoft Windows is Microsoft. There's a lot of certifications on Microsoft Windows created by Microsoft, which tells everyone that if you get certified Microsoft by the person who created the software, it tells them that you are very good at using the software for what the exam you wrote it for. Okay, we'll go over the exam things in the next 2-3 weeks of what you guys need to study for, and we'll go through. Usually in the second or third week, we'll go through it and see what exact certifications that you should be aiming for before or right after this class ends. Okay, you'll have enough time to study and everything. I'll give you all the study materials. Okay. Major Windows version timeline. Okay, so this is something that you have to understand. So this is, as you see here, Windows 1.0 was the first one. Obsolete means it's no longer being, it's no longer supported. It's been removed out of the thing. They no longer have this product anymore. So if you see here, Windows 95, you guys probably use Windows XP. Windows XP is huge right back in the days. Even now, a lot of people like Windows XP. Windows Vista, Windows 7, and Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 10, Windows 11. So if you see here, the release here, and they have something called end of life here, if you see here. So this means when they stopped providing support for these operating systems. So operating systems like Windows will say after this year, you have to move to Windows, different Windows, the newer Windows. So if you see here, Windows 10 will be expiring on October 2025, which is next month, right? October 2025, Windows, Microsoft will stop providing support for Windows 10, okay? They will ask you to move on to Windows 11. So Windows 11 is released in 2021, and there is right now they don't have any date on when they're going to stop providing support. But the easiest way, Microsoft is very good at planning, because they know a lot of corporate clients are using Windows, and they want to give them a very good timeline on when they can expect the Windows to go, cannot be installed anymore. So if you just go on to Google and type in, Windows 11 end of life, it'll give you an approximate timeline. So if you go here, it says, because Windows 11 also has versions, version 24H2, 23H2, but currently it's in support. They don't have any idea yet of when they're going to stop providing support. But the versions of Windows 11, they have stopped supporting, end of date, okay? So there's an easy way you can check the version of Windows. If you go here and search for system information, if you go into here, you will actually find something called the Windows version. This is build 20, and it should be somewhere here. Microsoft Corporate, BIOS version. Okay, you know what? The easiest way is this. Just open up your file here. and go into right click on this PC, show more options, properties. Okay, if you see here, this is basically a system about myself, okay? So if we scroll down over here, you'll see Windows 11. You'll see the version over here, 24H2, okay? That's my version. If you see in our Windows thing, 24H2, it expires in 2026, okay? So usually this is why they tell you to keep your system up to date. The most up to date it is, the more secure it be. So the best way to update your system is if you go into settings here and click on, sorry, if you just open up here, I'll show you how to go from here. So if you just go to search, settings, and when you open up settings here, just go down to Windows Update and click for check for update. This will check in to make sure your system is up to date or not. And if your system is up to date, you'll get a check mark saying that it's up to date, or it'll start installing updates, okay? And you might have to reboot the system once update is done. It depends on your how much you haven't done the updates. Usually this is done automatically, okay? So you don't have to do anything. But it's always better if somebody says it's not working, they can't go onto the site, they can't log into the corporate Wi-Fi, they cannot. Some of the issues could be that their Windows is very old and it's not updated, and they can just go and check update and let the update install all the updates. Okay. We'll talk more about this in our security sessions, because there's some things in between that I want to show you guys that we need to make sure we check. Okay. But currently, Windows 11 is released on 2021, and it's in the current. Okay, status is current. October 2025, next month, Windows 10 will be expiring. Okay. Microsoft will stop providing support for Windows 10 as of next month. Okay. Any question here, guys?
No, sir. It's clear.
Very good. Okay, so I talked about end of life. There's actually two things that you need to write it down. There's something called end of life, and there's something called end of support. Okay, so the difference is a product no longer receives support or update is called end of life. End of EOS, EOL, and EOS. End of support meaning a product will not receive security patch, bug fix, or technical support is called end of support. So there's two different things. Okay, end of life and end of support. Critical for IT to track. Unsupported Windows equals security risk. Okay, and this is how it works. So no longer for sale. So usually when it becomes end of life, it's no longer for sale. Limited support. Okay. For end of life or end of support, it just becomes end of support means the product might be still sold, but the updates or anything to do with the software wise, it's not really supported. You have to maintain yourself. End of life means it's no longer even being, they will not even ship it. They don't have anything available. You have to buy second-hand parts if it's available. Okay. This is something that's very important that you guys will need to write it down. Okay. Any question here, guys? Okay. Usually, this is how it falls. If something will become end of life first, they will not provide no updates or anything anymore, and then they'll stop providing service to it, right? Because let's say if in your normal house, right, household, you only have one computer. Microsoft can say, October 2025, we'll stop providing you support and service, right? End of life and end of support. But for corporate environment, they will still provide service until 1 year. So their end of support, it's only comes 1 year after. But it's because remember, they have invested probably $30 million, $40 million into buying computers that's Windows 10 compatible, right? So it's not easy for them to ask them to move to Windows 11. There's a lot of planning, there's a lot of projects involved. So usually for corporate environment, they'll provide at least 1 year, 2 years more extensions. That's the reason why if you see this thing over here, it'll no longer be for sale, but then after that, it'll be no longer serviced, end of service, right? So it means no service will be provided, no technical support will be provided, because at this point, you have to buy a new device or you have to update to the newest one. Okay? And the reason why they do it is to keep the security. Usually every 4 years, 5 years, the corporate will change the computers, and that's why you can get like a usually nice corporate computer for a really good price. Is because usually they will sell them at like very very discounted price to recycling companies. I'm talking about like $50-$60 for nice laptops. But the recycling will take them, they'll put a new hard disk, they'll put a new RAM. Obviously, it costs them too, and they'll sell it for a profit, right? About $150-$100. But it's coming from a corporate environment, and usually the chip itself, there's something called a TPM. You might want to write it down. It's called TPM. T as in Tom, P as in Peter, M as in Mary. Okay. The TPM chip is what's used for encryption, for locking using encryption method, right? So there's a deciphering there. It's a cybersecurity thing. But every 4 years, they recommend that you change the laptop. So the chip itself is new, and it comes with the latest new recommendation from NIST, National Institution of Science and Technology, from NIST itself. Okay, recommendation. Any questions there, guys?
It's security, right? Like National Institute of Security and Technology, something like that. Right? Like that's a
Let me
framework,
see.
right?
I always thought it's. I always confused. I think
No,
it's
no,
security.
I've read about
No,
this.
no, no, no. I'm wrong too. So it's National Institute of Standard and Technology. Sorry.
Standard and technology. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
My apologies. Yes, yes, yes. I always. This is something that I always confuse myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for catching that.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, that's perfect. Any other question, guys? Very good. Okay, so Windows has something called editions. Okay, not everybody gets the same edition. So if you see here from the example what I showed you, so there's Home, there's Pro, Enterprise, Education, LTSC. So I'll tell you what these are. So usually the Home one is when you go and buy a computer from Best Buy, Staples, Canada Computers. Usually they have a license called Home, and they're meant for home users. So you don't have anything too spectacular in them. There's some features in Windows editions that is beneficial for other purposes. For home, the home license is more than enough. But the pro license is for small business and advanced users. It allows you to do something called encryption, next level encryption. It has a better antivirus system. And the updates you get on the pro or anything below this mark over here, anything below home or below, it is more filtered and is more checked like thoroughly. Usually what they do is they sell or they give the home for free for Dell, Lenovo, and all these computers. Get the license for pretty cheap, like $2, $1, or even free sometimes. Just to put, because they're putting a sticker there, right? You see on your laptop, you'll get a sticker that says, let me pull up a laptop here. It'll say like Windows 11 or Windows 11 or the Windows C, the Windows sticker here on the back of the laptop. You get a Windows sticker here. For this, it's a marketing purpose for them, so they give them license for free. But what they do is because you're getting license for free, before it used to be paid. I don't know if you remember, like 10 years ago, when you buy a new laptop, you have to pay to get the Windows installed, and you have to pay $200-$300 extra to purchase new Windows and license. But they start giving it away for free now with it. It's because they can use you as a guinea pig, and they can test all the updates. They can send all the security updates to you and test them on your computer. And because imagine there's like millions and billions of computers they can do all these tests on, right? And they can test for all scenarios on your computer. And whatever passes and fails, they can get a report of it. And whatever pass, and they can get a list of what application crashed because of the updates they sent to home users. And they filter down, and it comes better for the pro users. And the pro users are also like they get filtered down, but usually the enterprise and education or LTS will get even more better updates, software updates. It's more filtered down, it works all the time. You don't have to, your business will not be down. So if you see how you can check your edition is the same thing as how you went into settings. Go into settings, and if you go into system here, and if you scroll down to about, you can actually see here where it says pro. Okay, if it's home, it will say home. If it's enterprise, it will say enterprise. If it's LTSC, long-term service service channel, this means that this is meant for anything that's for small devices, anything that doesn't need too much update, or it's just there for sake of running some like the digital signage TVs they have in Pizza, and some big stores they just have a TV that's playing videos. They'll be like the LTSC licensing they'll use for it. It's very cheap. and it doesn't have too much heavy stuff on it. Okay, it's very just Windows browser, and that's about it. It's a very slim system, but you can't really do anything on it. And education also is for academic institution, and pretty much they give these for free for colleges and university, because they want people to get used to it. One of the best technique that Bill Gates, or I believe it's what Bill Gates did, was Bill Gates. It's not he's not really a great technical person, but he's a very good marketing person. So what he did was he allowed schools to get the free license. It's because not a lot of people can afford to have Windows license at home, right? But at school, if they can purchase a computer and he'll give the Windows for free, you go into the school and got used to using Windows. Now, from young age, you start using Windows and you'll be comfortable. Even Mac OS, if you use it for so many times, you'll feel it's very easy. Even Linux too, when you use it from young age, right? But you don't have options. It's not free, or it's one is so hard to install, one is not free. Windows is free, and as long as you have a hardware, now Microsoft even gives them a rebate to buy computers, right, for small schools and institutions, colleges and everything. But because they start getting people to use it, now you use it from, let's say, even if you look at Canada, kids who's going kindergarten till you finish college or university using Windows computer or anything to do with Windows in college, right? Now you've been using it for almost 25, 30 years. When you come into a corporate environment, you'll be it'll be like second nature for you. It's almost muscle memory, right, for you to do stuff. Now that way they can charge more for the enterprise license here, and they can give the education for free. So it's basically they're getting the money here. The enterprise license is very expensive, to be honest. A server license itself is like $20,000-$30,000 for one server. So that's how costly it is, right? But for enterprise level Windows 11, there's I think it's like $300 or $400 or $600, I think, something like that. But licensing costs so much is because they know a company, to teach the users, if they have 300, 400 users, to teach 300, 400 users the amount of time, the training they'll spend, they'll just rather pay the $600 per computer and get the license and go on with it. That's the reason why the Windows has become so famous over the time, and not Mac or Linux. Any question, guys, here? So key Windows features are graphical user interface, it's called GUI, task manager, and event viewer. So task manager is something like this. So when you click search for task manager, you'll get a list of all the programs your computer is running. You get a list of the performance of your computer, just to see how your computer is doing from one place, right? And you can see the app history, see what application has been opened, and how many megabytes or how many network or how many notification it has. Startup apps, what applications are starting up with your computer. User accounts, how many user accounts are currently logged into your computer. Details about the programs that's running in your computer. It's just pretty much one place where you can go in and to see what your computer is doing right now in the back end, right? It's so much easier, and services, okay? It's one place that Windows computer came up with. Go ahead. Somebody has a question?
Yeah, so I just want to know that will we go deep dive in these topics as well?
Yeah, we'll go slightly deep dive into it in the troubleshooting section. Okay? You'll create some scenarios and you'll come up with some screenshots and go in and dig deeper into it.
Yeah, like for example, somebody says or asks to me that my what we call my Wi-Fi is not working.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
so we'll get through all these steps, right?
Oh yeah. You'll be given I think there's a 30 different question or 40 different question assignment that you have to do, where you'll be researching about it, and you'll do some analysis, and there's actually ones where they say the application has crashed. So where would you go in? So you'll actually go in and create some screenshots and put it into the document.
Yeah, like somebody is saying that my system is running very slow, so we can get through all the cache memories, that we can check what's the utilization, that's what you showed as of now, right? So
Yes.
we'll go through step by step, right?
Yeah, we'll go step by step, and there's some application troubleshooting like Outlook. You'll do some, just in case if some application are crashing, how do you actually identify which application is crashing, and how do you actually resolve the issue? Like there's a lot of things that you go through.
So basically, today we are mostly covering the theoretical part, right?
Yeah, like today and next two classes will be theoretical class. Yeah, next two classes will be theoretical class. And then
Okay.
we'll go into networking tomorrow. I think next class will be networking, and the other class is security. And then we'll go into I think next class is cloud computing. But we'll look at the schedule. It's in our schedule. Yeah, next class is networking, and then after that cyber security, IT cloud. This is where, and then we go into Azure. So all of
Okay.
these are mostly, there'll be quizzes and there's some assignments involved in it, but it's mostly theoretical and understanding of what the concepts are. Okay.
Hmm. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Perfect. It might sound boring. Trust me. Whenever you do a batch, the first 3 classes are boring, but it'll be a very good foundation when you go and dive into Azure, and it'll all start making sense when you because Azure is a big world. When you don't know, it might seem overwhelming, but we've trust me, it'll definitely help you, and you'll tell me about it
Right. Right.
for
Right.
sure. But yeah, I know it is very dry material, but we have to cover it.
Yeah. So I don't think so. Like, but you know better that if someone of us from us will go for the interview. So will somebody ask to us like, what is OS? Do
Yeah.
you think they can ask to us?
What they'll ask you is, in Windows, where do you actually go in to see the log reports?
Okay. So basically, they will ask to us like scenario based type questions,
Yeah,
right?
usually interviews, it's more scenario based for your role. So if
Okay.
I was to ask you, Sunita, where would you go to see all the log reports of any applications crashes or anything?
Mm-hmm. Got it. Got it.
No,
So,
where would you go? Where would you go? Inside the question.
oh, okay, got it. So, I think you showed us, right?
Yeah, what is the application?
Sorry, it skipped from my mind.
That's okay. It's called Event Viewer. So that's the type of thing. Okay, that's why we cover this is so to show you where the logs are located at. So when you go into troubleshooting, it's much more easier for you to see. Okay, this when you say scenarios, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is where this will be. And for Azure, there's logs too, but you'll start seeing them too, and it'll start making sense to you more when you start doing hands-on work with it.
So, I don't think so. They will ask to us like what we call definitions.
No, they won't ask you definitions. They'll ask you, okay, if this happens, where would you go and check, right? What do you think you can do to troubleshoot these type of issues? They'll ask those type of questions rather than definitions.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Got it.
Yeah, the reason why we cover definition is just so you understand to have a more in-depth, rather than me just saying UAC, you'll have more understanding. User account control is called UAC because you're not gonna expect anyone to say user control access. They're gonna say UAC or something like that, right? And GUI, and if you don't know, you don't know what it connects to,
Mm-hmm.
what it's
Right.
used for, or anything like that, right? That's the reason why.
It's
Okay.
about it's basically for our understanding, right?
Yeah, it's for your understanding. So when we go down into a little bit Azure, we're
Mm-hmm.
not going to use small words, or we're going to use a lot of acronyms. And for you to click to you, it'll be helpful for you.
Okay, got it.
Okay, perfect, awesome. So Windows admin tool helped us must know. There's something called Device Manager, which manages your drivers and hardwares, your disk management, formats and partition drives, CMD and PowerShell, which is your command line interface, system configuration, msconfig, which has your boot and startup settings, service.msc, which controls the background services, task scheduler, automates tasks, group policy, gpedit.msc, controls user settings and users/system settings. And this is why we show you this, is so you can write this down. So when we go and talk about this, you're not gonna, it's something that you'll remember, and you'll go into the settings to view them, right? And if I tell you go into device manager, you'll need to know the device manager. It handles drivers and hardwares. Okay. Common Windows term and acronyms. Operating system, you guys know this. We just talked about this. Operating system is OS. GUI is graphical user interface. UAC is user access control. BSOD is called blue screen of death. This is something very that's something that I've asked a lot of people, and they just like they get like deer in the headlight, right? So BSOD, it's blue screen of death, okay, which is what you'll see if Windows crashes. It's a blue screen of death. If you guys don't know what it seems like, this is how it seems, okay? You guys might have seen this. It just seems like this. It's come something has failed, okay? And usually over here, this code will tell you what the error is if you put it on Google. There's CMD, which is command prompt. RDP, a lot of people will talk about this, remote desktop protocol. We'll look at that too. NFS, NTFS is a Windows file system. It's created for Windows file system. Active Directory AD is directory service for network user and devices. Okay, and WUS is WSUS is Windows Server Update Services. Okay, and this is also like something that throws off people to WSUS. Okay. Tip for Windows troubleshooting: always. The first thing that we always ask anyone to do is to reboot your computer. Windows computer fixes a lot of issues if you reboot them. Okay, Linux too. As long as you reboot them first and try it again, like you won't believe 85% of the issues will resolve as soon as the reboot is done. Check Event Viewer for logs. Next thing is use safe mode to isolate problem. I'll send you guys a safe mode video how to enter in, and you can go and see in your laptop or your desktop as well to see how safe mode works. It's very interesting. You can actually turn off all extra features that Windows never came up with just to isolate the issue, to see if it comes from a software or if it's actually Windows operating system is crashed or not. Okay. Ask user for the exact error message. This is something that a lot of people go missing, is they don't ask for what the error message, they assume something and it'll be something different, right? So if they get an error message, again, tell them take a picture and send it to you, or tell them take a picture and they can read out to you what the exact error message is. Usually with Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, the error message can tell a lot about what type of issues they're facing on the computer itself. Okay. Use built-in troubleshooters. So Windows itself has something called troubleshooters built into them, and you can actually search on your Windows tier if you have any issues, like troubleshoot settings. So let's say if this is not working for me, I can just click diagnose network problems. It automatically self does the troubleshooting. I might go offline. That's why I'm just scared, but I don't want to do it again. But you can actually do okay, there you go. It's opening up now. My computer is a bit slow because I've been running classes all day today. But you can actually do self built-in troubleshootings to see if it can fix its own issues. Okay. We'll look at a lot of these in our more troubleshooting steps, and you'll have more hands-on exercise on these. Okay. Okay. Introduction to Linux. This is something, it's more theory-based. It's because we're not going to see Linux in this class. You're not going to, in your role for the next 3 to 5 years, you will not be touching Linux. It's something that, a lot of companies have set up and nobody touches it. Even system admins don't touch it, is because the way how you set up a Linux system is different from Windows system, and not a lot of people know how to set it up properly. Okay. And if it's not done properly, the whole business can crash. That's the reason why they don't like anyone that's not certified by Linux itself, they don't let them touch. Okay. Linux is free, open source. It's Unix like OS. Okay, Unix was first built. It's built by a guy, but Linux was just built right after. Okay, you just have to understand Linux is just based off of Unix. Created by Linux Torvalds. I can't pronounce the name for anything, but in 1991. Okay. It powers servers, desktops, smartphones, supercomputers. Your Android, if you're using Android phone, it's running a Linux version. Okay, so it is running a version of Linux in it, and a lot of all supercomputers are built on base of Linux. Okay, Linux is a very lightweight, and you customize it so much that it's very secure, stable, and customizable. That's the reason why a lot of people love it in the corporate. They can remove anything they don't need. Whereas Windows, it's more strict. Okay, you can't remove Paint or anything like that, right? It's built in. You have to keep the built-in software. Whereas Linux, you can remove pretty much anything you don't like. Even the GUI, you can remove if you don't like that, and you can add a new GUI that you have created, or you can download off of online and put it on. That's how customizable it is. Whereas Windows, if you have the Windows how it looks like, that's how it looks like. You can't really do much of it, right? But whereas Linux, you can actually change it however you like. That's the thing that's the beauty about Linux. Okay, Linux is not actually an operating system. Okay, this is where it gets confusing for people. Linux is actually a kernel. Linux is not an operating system. Okay, it's a kernel. A kernel is a core part that interfaces with the hardware. Different distros build complete operating system around the kernel itself. Okay, remember what we looked at kernel here, guys? When we went in here. So let me just do this. This is 33. Remember when we looked at kernel over here? So instead of this being operating system here and kernel being lower, Linux will work just the slightly other way. So the kernel will be here and the operating system will be lower. Okay. So it's because Linux itself is a kernel. Linux is the kernel over here, and it'll be just above the operating system instead of it being below. Okay, it works slightly different.
It's a command line operating system, right? Like just we have to use the command lines
Yeah.
to control.
Yes. So Linux by itself by default it's command line. You can add GUI on top of it,
Mhm.
which that's why the operating system on top of it, right? Linux itself is a kernel. It's very very lightweight. It's probably like when it takes megabytes amount. You can run Linux on a very very small computer and it'll be very powerful, very fast. It's because there's anything that is unneeded. You can add in anything you like, even like Google Chrome, even networking, even files and everything. You can add in whatever you like, but it's not built in by default. Whereas the operating system has it, so you can install the operating system inside Linux to make it a more usable, more user friendly, or for your purpose itself. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Somebody's trying to log into my account. That's why. Okay, no problem. Okay. So yeah, so there's tons and tons of operating system built around Linux kernel itself. You can use whatever you like. There's the popular ones are like Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, Red Hat, Kali Linux, Arch Linux, Linux Mint. These are some of the Linux distribution. And the OS Linux operating system, what we call as distribution, is these are things. For ethical hacking, one of the main operating system we use is called Kali Linux. Okay, Kali Linux provide us with all the tools and necessary things that's built specifically meant for ethical hackers or hackers, red team, blue team, those type of things, right? So it's the tools are built in. It's meant for them. Whereas Ubuntu is meant for usually like home users. Debian is meant for like slightly power users. So for every use, there's a Linux distribution out there. You don't have to do one and then use the one, right? You can whatever one you like, you can install and you can install and use, or you can install a Linux kernel and customize it yourself if you know how to do it. For your role, you don't have to worry about Linux, okay? But we just covered it so just so you understand how it works. So Linux timeline is this: 1991, first Linux kernel was created. Debian distribution was released in 1993. Red Hat Enterprise Linux was released in 2000, which is what a lot of corporate offices use. Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Red Hat Enterprise administrators gets the most amount of pay. Okay, I think it's like $250,000 or $300,000 a year, and up. So it's a very hard certification, but if you have that, your life is like pretty much settled. I know some guys who work in the California region. They have their own flight. They pretty much fly around.
This Red Hat and Ubuntu is mostly used right now, right? Like for especially in the security purpose that they are using this Red Hat and Kali Linux. I mean Ubuntu.
No, not Ubuntu. More Kali Linux and
Kali
Red Hat.
Linux. Okay.
Yeah, Kali Linux. Yeah, Kali Linux is what we use for penetration testing and more.
Yes. Okay.
For Red Hat, it's more server based, so it's more of a server, and it's to protect protect the company itself.
Got it.
It has a lot of protection properties. Kali Linux, it has the properties of breaking. It has more of penetration testing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then they have Steam support Linux. Steam is a gaming service if you guys do gaming, and then WSL2 is a Linux inside Windows. This is something new. They came up after Windows 10, I believe. So you can actually install Windows inside your Linux. So Windows only became very secure after the 2020. It's because Windows started implementing Linux into their system, which made their computer to be more secure. That's the reason why nowadays you're hearing less of people getting virus attack. Not a lot of people are getting hacked is because Windows now by default has a built-in Linux kernel inside, so it makes it very secure. Okay, but you can't really access it. It's very locked down. You can unlock it to use it. It's just a small process, but you have to unlock it to use it. But it has something built into it, okay, to support Linux itself. Any question here, guys? Okay. Why learn Linux powers 96% of servers in the world. It's pretty much server-based OS in the corporate environment. As I said, they get the most amount of paid Linux server administrator. Open source and customizable, secure and stable, free to use, great for IT, DevOps, cybersecurity, and programming. Okay. Beginner-friendly Linux. If you want to try Linux out, you can start off with Ubuntu, Linux Mint, Zorin OS, or Element OS, or Pop OS. Okay. These are very friendly OS. You can install and start using. It'll look like Windows. That's how these are built based off. Okay, they're meant to mimic the Windows environment. Linux basic terms to know: kernel, core of the OS. Okay, distribution, a complete operating system based on Linux. Terminal, command line interface. Whereas in Windows we saw C and B, right? Root, super user account. Okay, it's like administrator account in Windows. It's super user account. It's called root. Okay. Package manager, tool to install or uninstall software. Whereas in Windows, we actually have program uninstall in control panel itself, right? Uninstall programs. We have then control panel, where in Linux, it's actually command line tool, where it's called package manager. And sudo is to run something in administrative privileges. Whereas in Windows, we can right click on the program and say run as admin. Whereas in Linux, we'll do sudo. Okay. Basic Linux command line. I don't expect you guys to memorize this or anything. Okay, just for just for the purpose of your knowledge. Okay, ls is list file, cd to change directory, pwd to print current directory, mkdir is to create folder, rm to remove a file, apt install package name is to install software on Ubuntu and Debian based software. Okay, as I said, you don't have to memorize, just for your knowledge itself. Okay. Tips for you new users: start with a live USB, no installation needed. You can actually boot a USB into Linux and then boot from the USB itself to try Linux out. You don't have to install it, okay? You can pretty much carry your computer in your USB drive. Learn terminal basics. There's a lot of YouTube videos you can watch to learn Linux, and it's very fun to go and interact with, and you'll get a lot of knowledge if you start using it on a regular basis. Join forums like Ubuntu or Linux. There's a lot of free resources for Linux because it's open source. A lot of people love it and a lot of people support it. Okay. Uses graphical user interface tools at first, move to terminal gradually, explore, break, fix. That's how you learn Linux. Okay. Any question on Linux, guys? I said Linux and Mac OS, I'm not really concerned about your deep understanding in it. It's because it's just for education purposes. I want you guys to know these are the things that's there, but Windows is what we mostly focused on about. Okay, I promise we're done after this. Just bear with me for 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes. Okay, I'm so sorry going past the class. Mac OS is a graphical operating system developed by Apple Inc. Built on a Unix-based foundation. Darwin. So if you guys know Linux is also based on a Linux, right? So Mac OS is also based on a Unix itself. Okay, known for its security, sleek design, and seamless integration with Apple devices. They call it Apple ecosystem. If you have an iPhone, if you have an iPad, if you have a MacBook, everything syncs together to create an environment itself. Okay, you can copy on your phone and you can paste on your computer seamlessly. And if you get a call on your phone, you get the same call on your iPad, your computer, your watch, everything is synced. Okay, it's to create an ecosystem. Formerly known as Mac OS X, then OS X, now Mac OS. Okay. Why learn Mac? Used widely in creative industries, education, and business. Education is for when they're teaching video editing, those type of things. That's why they use it. It's not cheap. Okay, Mac. That's the reason why a lot of education like it. Windows they get pretty much for free. Whereas Mac computer they have to actually pay. I think 95%. They get a 5 or 10% discount for school. That's it. If on $1,000 laptop, they only get $100 discount, right? So that's the reason why they don't really go for it unless it's specifically meant for a certain course. They would have probably like a 10 MacBook or something that just for editing videos and those type of things, right? For architecturing and those type of classes. Important for BYOD. So in IT, they have something called BYOD, bring your own device environment. Okay, so executives like CEO, CFO, they usually have MacBooks. We can allow them to bring Mac OS into Windows environment and still be able to use them in a Windows server. Okay. Apple device often requires specialized knowledge to troubleshoot. They're completely different. Okay, they are completely different, and you need to know how to troubleshoot MacBook. Now, I'm not a MacBook user. I don't love troubleshooting MacBook. It's just everything's so weird, and nothing is very straightforward. You have to jump through like 20 hoops to troubleshoot something very simple. Okay. MacBooks, iMacs, and Mac Minis are commonly used by executives. As I said, C-class, VPs, CFO, CTO, C-class, and sometimes you get specialized people who's doing contracts. They come in and use MacBooks, but it's widely they don't like it, but they have to support it because CEOs bring in. They can't say no. That's the reason why. Okay.
Mostly it's not user friendly, right?
It's not user. I mean, it's here's the thing, right? If you use it from a young age, it can be user friendly. It's because it's so expensive, nobody gets hand onto it, and becomes hard to use, right? It's like something, if you start to learn how to use a phone when you're 20 and
Mm,
you're 25, it's hard. But when you start using it, like 14, 15, or 10, it becomes so easy for you, right? It's natural
yeah.
to you. Same thing with the Mac OS, right? I know a lot of people that can do a lot of stuff with Mac OS because they start using from young age, whereas I don't have exposure to it, right? And I don't need it, so I don't know how it works. And with Mac OS, you'll find out there's not much you can troubleshoot. To be honest, everything works and it works. That's it. There's
Oh,
not much.
really? Okay.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, then the device itself is crashing. It works, then it works. That's how Mac OS. There's not much you can do to troubleshoot. To be honest, on Mac
Okay.
an Apple device. Even on an iPhone, you can't do much. You can change the screen, you can change the battery, you can change some things, right? Software wise, there's not much there that you can troubleshoot.
Got
That's the reason why it's just not really. Usually, when they bring it in, there's not usually any issues with connecting to the internet or the company things. The executives will know that they can't access what they access on a normal Windows computer in a work environment on a MacBook. So they'll just be bringing that in for accessing like Teams or some sort of meetings or something like that, but they won't do their actual work that connects with Windows Active Directory services or Windows Azure, anything like that. It just doesn't work naturally. Okay. All right. Mac versions. So as I said, I don't need you guys to memorize this, but Windows you do have to understand them. Okay. So it's Windows Cheetah is the first version, 2001. Right now it's I think there's another one right now, Sicona or something that's 15, I think right now. But they release everything. I think every 2 years or something that they release a new version as part of the device release. They release a new device every 2 years, every 2 years or every year, right? So they release an operating system every year like that. Okay. Support cycle for macOS. Remember, we looked at EOL and EOS. For macOS, provides a regular security and features update. Typically, each version is supported for 3 to 5 years. Apple does not tell us when they will bring it into end of life or end of support. It's when they feel like it. Okay, it's literally like when they release a new OS, it might be the old version could be 3 versions before could be end of life and end of support. They don't tell, they don't give warning, they don't support after that. As soon as they support, it's cut the switch for everyone. Whereas Microsoft, they do support my corporate environment just to get them moved along 1 or 2 years. Whereas Microsoft, it's not like that. Okay, no exact EOL and EOS date, but updates stop when a new version releases. So their thing is like they only support 2 versions before something like that. So when the new version releases, whatever is 2 versions before will stop. They'll stop providing support for it. Okay. You don't need to, as I said, you don't need to have memorize this or anything like that. Just it's more of your knowledge wise. Okay. Core features: Finder, file management system. Just like Windows have a folder explorer, Mac has a file management system. Spotlight is a system-wide search, just like how Windows have something called index search. Okay, they have this. System settings was system preference before, now it's called system settings, like just like our control panel in Windows. Dock and menu bar is like the task menu bar, like one we have in the lower bottom corner over here, just like this. Okay, we have that. Time Machine is built-in backup tool. Now, the reason why a lot of people love Mac is for this Time Machine. So what they do is every 4 years when they get a new machine, they can actually use a Time Machine to completely back up the system and put it into a new system, and they'll have exactly all the programs and all the softwares here on the old system, on the new system. It's seamless for the users, so they don't have to go to a technical person to get it installed. They can just do it on themselves. That seems why when you talk to an Apple user, they say it's so easy to use, it's so user friendly. Is because like there's something technical behind it. You can do everything. It's meant for user using, right? So they take in a way that if it works, then it works properly. If it stops working, it's time to buy a new device. That's the approach they take it. So the Time Machine was people loved MacBook, and usually a lot of people create a Time Machine backup, and then if they ever lose a computer, they can just restore from the Time Machine backup. And a lot of these old people who's been using MacBook, they already know how to create a Time Machine backup. And they'll work from that. Machine control is like Windows and desktop management. Terminal is Unix style command line access. iCloud and connect continuity is sync with iPhones and iPad. You know what iCloud is now, right? So it syncs with everything online, and you can lock your device. You can see what's there. You can upload your photos. It's a cloud services, okay? What they have, just like Google has the photos, iCloud does that same thing. Okay. I think tools for help desk support is activity monitor on a MacBook, disk utilities, consoles, terminal, safe mode, migration assistant, recovery mode. Okay, so these are some of the things, tools, and app, and there's listed task manager equivalent for activity manager, disk utilities, format, partition, and repairs drives. Consoles is a system log, just like event viewer in Windows. Terminal is a command line in Windows, which is this command line tool. Safe mode, remember we talked about safe mode in Windows? Same thing, Windows, Mac OS has also safe mode, okay? Migration assistant is to transfer data from old Mac or PC into Mac, okay? Into Apple computer. So it makes it easy for someone who's converting from an old Mac or a Windows computer into Mac, okay? They made it easier. Recovery mode, reinstall operating system, use disk utilities, use time machine backups. It's a built-in tool that Mac has created. Instead of having the BIOS chip, they do have BIOS chip. They have another chip called recovery mode chip, which can help you to reinstall Mac operating system just by connecting it to internet, and it'll just download the latest software from Mac server online and install software for you. You don't have to have USB or anything like that. It's so simple. It's so easy to use. That's why people love it. Okay. So the key terms and acronyms, just memorize these ones. Finder, File Explorer for Mac OS, just like how we have it. Command tree. So instead of control on Windows, we have something called command in Mac OS. Okay, so in your keyboard you'll see control if you have a Windows computer, like a Windows anything with Windows. But on a MacBook, instead of control, you'll see command key. Okay. Kernel panic is the same as BSOD in Windows. Okay, blue screen of death. So kernel panic. Okay, kernel panic. Write that down, please. Okay. AFPS is called Apple File System. It's, you know how Microsoft has NTFS we talked about. Apple has their own file system, which is called APFS. Now it's called HFS. Okay, it's a file system. Gatekeeper controls app installs installation for security. Okay, control app installation for security. It tells you if there's anything that's malicious. It'll check it and it'll tell you that there's something suspicious. You should not install this. You can actually bypass this, but it'll actually give you a warning. Okay. Rosetta 2 lets Intel apps run on Mac Silicon 1 or M2 chip. So Apple now does not buy their CPU from Intel. They actually make their own CPU chip. So a lot of software has been created for Intel chip, cannot be installed on an M1 or M2 chip. Apple created their own CPU, as I said. You can't install it. So there's something called Rosetta 2. It's a protocol that allows you to install Microsoft-based or Intel-based application on Intel-based, not Microsoft, Intel-based application on a MacBook M1 or M2 chip. Okay. System integrity protection. It protects critical file system like Mac OS's important file system. It's actually its own defense mechanism. It's almost like a bunch of soldiers that's protecting it. Okay, so no malicious file can come in and damage the file, just for safety of the operating system itself. They have something called Launchpad, which is an app launcher similar to iOS. Okay, SMC/PRAM is a resetting tool for troubleshooting hardware issues. It's called SMC/PRAM. Okay, SMC. Okay, those are the things, troubleshooting things. These are key acronyms and terms. If you guys want to just write it down or take a screenshot or something like that, this would be very helpful. Okay, this is what you guys have to remember. Okay. Any questions so far, guys?
You'll be uploading this lesson, right?
Yeah. I'll be uploading this video. Yes. Okay. Maybe not tonight, but tomorrow morning I'll have it uploaded and put it on our Moodle. Okay, on our portal.
Okay.
Okay. All right, common Mac command lines. They're almost, if you see, they're almost similar to Linux. LS for listing, CD for change directory, open is for open folder in Finder, default right is modify system settings, sudo is to run command in admin right, top to monitor process of applications. Okay, it's almost similar to a Linux command line. Tips for troubleshooting a MacBook is Know the boot key. Okay, so if you ever want to do recovery mode, go into that you want to see if you can erase the MacBook OS and reinstall Mac OS. You would actually turn on that Mac computer while holding on Command and R key, and turn on the computer. It'll go into something called recovery mode. Okay, but if you just hold on the option, on the Mac keyboard you'll have something called option key as well. If you hold the option key and boot, it'll go into boot menu where you can boot into USB drive, hard drive, or online. And then you have shift, and when you click on start, you'll have something called safe boot. Okay, remember we talked about in Windows where you can go in and turn off any unknown features that you think that might be causing crashes, and you can do some troubleshooting from there. Okay, use disk utility and activity monitors. Check software compatibility before upgrading. So not all MacBooks can be upgraded to the latest version. Okay, if they're built in 2017, they can only go up to maybe 2020 operating system when it was released. So it depends on what computer you have, what Mac OS you can install on. Okay, that you can check online by just the model number itself. Manage permissions and privacy settings carefully. Reset NVRAM, PRAM, and SMC when dealing with hardware issues. Which you guys will not be dealing with hardware issues, but I'm just letting you guys just know for your knowledge. Okay. That's it, guys. Any question about Mac or Linux? I'm so sorry for taking more than what the time is, but I think it's just because of some delays we had. Any question, guys? Or did you guys all go to sleep? Yeah, did I put you guys to sleep?
We all are already on sleepy mode.
I know, me too. Trust me, my eyes are just closing. I think I woke up at 4 o'clock today, so
I was just listening to you.
so I hope I didn't bore you.
No.
Yeah, it's but we do have to pass through these to have a better understanding of when we go down into hardware, into more of hands-on, right?
Is that possible if we can break down this time slot into 2 classes in a week?
It's very hard because of time management, right? So it's but trust me, if once we start going through these, it won't be this long. It just the
Yeah.
operating system classes goes this long. The other classes does not go. Usually we try to finish with the 2.5 hour mark.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we try to usually finish by 8:30.
So yeah, I know that we like we are not habitual about this time period for 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
Once we will get habitual, then it will be
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
for us.
yeah.
Yeah, then it will be easy for us.
Trust me. Yeah, it's a lot easier afterwards. It's just, but the first 2 classes it'll be you just start adjust, right, and after that it gets very easy. Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
have just one basic question.
Sure.
Like, is anyone can get job just because of CCNA? If he has done any CCNA course, can he get the job just because of CCNA, or do he need to add up any other skills?
CCNA by itself with no experience is pretty much. I'm not going to say useless, but it'll become very hard, because CCNA, networking, but you don't know anything about IT for you to go into networking, right?
Hmm.
As I said, like when you go into those sort of specialization certification, which you have to have some sort of working knowledge in getting CCNA, right? It's very good, but it's not. I'm not saying that it's bad. Don't get it, right? I'm just saying it'll be more beneficial for you if you have working knowledge in getting
Yeah, actually, you're right. Because one of my relative that he's working in a Cisco,
it.
and he's been working there for more than 10 years. And after that, only he just completed this CCNA
Yeah,
certifications after all this experiences. So experience is very, very
yeah.
important for
Oh.
for CCNA.
You know
Yes.
what the thing is? I seen so when we interview for workplace, right? So I see a lot of people get. I told you in the last class too. I see a lot of people that gets security plus, CCNA. They even get like some of them had like administrative level license, right? But they don't have any work knowledge. So for me, what it tells is, so okay, let's be very frank. Anybody that puts in this 3 months to 6 months time, very dedicated, can pass the exam. Okay, if you put in like 3 hours a day for 3 months, for sure you'll pass the exam. But it does not mean that you'll have a very realistic or real life experience on how to solve a problem. And trust me, I set up almost 16 jails in Saskatchewan, hold and release. And when I set up these 16 jails, right, we go in there, we tell, okay, within 6 hours we'll finish them. And I have a team of 4 people, 4 high-end networking people. And I'm not saying that I'm not too I'm not knowledgeable than these four guys. They have almost 10, 15 years of experience in networking, right? Even them, the 4 hours project turns into sometimes 1 day full project. So it's so unpredictable. So when you have these certifications, it tells me, okay, you have studied very good, but these knowledges has to be very practical. If you have even 1 or 2 years of junior network admin skills or junior network administrator level experience, or even 4 years in help desk, and you have a little more specialization in networking, you get CCNA. I would actually believe it, because now you have work experience and your certification complements your work experience.
Right, right.
Whereas CCNA by itself might even hurt you in landing a job sometimes. Because as I said from last class, right, this is how I look at it. If somebody comes in with a administrator or CCNA, like these big certifications, I don't think they're going to stick with me for a long time. If you're going to come into entry level, and so you can't come into entry level. I won't let I'm too scared to hire into entry level, and you don't have a skill set to go into mid level. Now you're stuck. I can't hire you in entry level because you're going to stay here for 1 year and you go. If you don't have experience to be hired in mid level, so you're stuck. And that's when certifications start hurting people.
Right.
Certifications are good if you strategize them and get them right. So
CCNA with the experience is plus point, right?
far superior, like 200%. Even
And
if you have
it's
license.
for every certifications, right? Even
Yeah. Even that's what I'm saying. Administrative, even like Azure administrative license too. I would tell you guys, don't do it right now, because it's get the fundamentals. Because what it tells is you have the enthusiastic, you understand the foundations. You get a job. You're gonna come in here. You're gonna be easier for me to teach you and grow you into the administrator, rather than you come into administrator. You're gonna stay here for maybe 6 months. Soon as another administrator work comes up, you're gonna apply and go there. You're not gonna stay with me for a level 1 job, right? So you're gonna be jumping. You're gonna be what's called a job hopping. So you're there for job hopping, just to get the experience of 6 months, 1 year. Whereas if you just have a foundation, I can at least believe that you're going to be here with me for 2 years. I said that ROI on an employee coming into IT department is at least minimum 2 years. Minimum 2 years. If I have a very high turnover of staff, then it tells my management is weak. So if it tells my management is weak, I can get replaced very soon.
Right, right.
So for me to protect my job, I need to make sure I hire the right amount of people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why that's why a lot of managers are very strict on when they see this high end certification with no experience. It doesn't add up. And I see a lot of people who who get like even there's some I can't even think of the name, like but they're like high
even
end.
I am a perfect example for this because I'm preparing for that CompTIA Security Plus, and I'm just going to take an exam, but I was a bit hesitant of doing that because I don't have any IT experience, but I have a knowledge, but I don't have any experience. So that's the backlog that you are exactly addressing right now. So
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, I think I spoke with you first day when sir. So I told you that I have IT experience, like
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm a little bit confused. Do I need to go with this one or do I need to go with CCNA? So I'm a little bit confused.
Okay, so I would suggest, here's my honest opinion. Okay, let's say even if you get a certification, get it, but you don't have to put on your resume. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
you don't have to advertise saying that you have it, right? And sometimes advertising the wrong certification for the wrong job can hurt you, right? So whatever the job is asking you for, show them that. Even if you have more, that's okay. Show them just what they need to see, and then after that, it's okay for you to tell them right after 3 4 months. After you become permanent, you have the certification as well. But in the starting stage, if they're not asking for it, if it's not plus for you in any cases, if it's going to put you in a wrong situation, it's better to avoid it.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
usually, like in this case, I would tell you, when you start a job, after a year, have them pay for your CCNA certification and get the certification, right? Because once they pay for it, they're now have to give you that sort of work exposure for the certification you got, right? Or it's waste of their money.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll get you to participate, and now that becomes experience, right? Now that is your experience now. And you have your certification, now you have experience. Even if they don't give you a networking job, you can go out and pursue the job, right? It's easy for you.
Right. Right.
And you never lost any money out of your pocket too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
CCNA is not cheap, right? It's like almost $300-400 exam, right? CCNA is, I forgot how much is it. Yeah, it's 300 USD, so it's around 450, 475 Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not a very cheap exam, right? So, I mean, when I wrote my PMP, my project management, I think it's around $800, something like that. So, I never paid out of my pocket for it. I think I had almost 3 or 4 years of project experience, and I asked for the company to pay for it. They paid for everything. They even paid for my, I think they even paid for my study books and everything, and they let me participate in more a project manager role instead of project coordinator, right? So now because of that, I was able to more have more experience in handling complex projects. Or they
Mm-hmm.
would never give it to me, they don't
Oh,
need to. They don't need to, right? Now because they're now obligated to give it to me because of the
mhm.
cost. $800 plus. I think it's another $1,000 in books and everything as well. So 1800 or something that they paid, less than 2,000 for sure. But
Right,
yeah, but because they paid, it's now they're obligated, right? So but it might not work all the time, but at least getting your foundation certification, which is very cheap, will tell you what it is, what type of certification. But Microsoft, any foundation certification is very good.
right, right, right.
Okay.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So any other question, guys, for this lesson?
Nope.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to hear how was today's class before you guys go to sleep. I know I need you guys not to go to sleep, but I want to hear from you guys how was today's class and
It's a lot of theoretical,
yeah,
so and little bit vague also. Seriously, so
yeah,
and yep. Overall, it's good, but it's more of theoretical. Hope
yeah,
that will get hands-on soon. So
for
looking
sure.
forward to that. Yep.
For sure, man. As I said, we have to cover networking, we have to cover security, and after that, it'll become more hands-on. But you'll have some assignments in networking, and you'll have some assignments in security as well, so which will make it a little more interesting for you.
Perfect. I'm eagerly looking for that
Yeah.
security thing because that is my interested domain. So yeah, you know very well, right? So
Yeah, yeah, and as I said, like you won't even networking and security, you won't go so deep that where it goes into network administrator thing, right? But it's just basically you need to understand how to do some troubleshooting and
mhm,
to get some numbers and see where they're located, right? Because that you need those are some things that you need to understand no matter
mhm.
what for your role.
Yep.
So you'll get to understand that, and cybersecurity, you'll have some. You have a quiz on cybersecurity and networking too, but
Sure, sure.
the assignments will go a little bit focused on where to go and see things. How do you where do you actually? I think cybersecurity there's not an assignment, but there's a quiz there just to understand the understanding. I'm not. I can't recall if there's an assignment. I still have to put it into the Moodle if there is. I think there is an assignment. I believe.
I have a question that you said that there will be something like a student portal, right? That we have
Yeah.
to log in. You have sent the login details to
Yeah.
our.
Yeah. So the group has the login details. You can actually there's an app you can actually download as well. I showed it
Yeah.
at the beginning of the class.
No, no. Yeah, I remember that you have sent me that username and password. That is
Yes.
that we have to put it in that, right? Like the
Yes.
student portal that we have to log in. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay,
And the quiz is it's due before next week Tuesday 11:55. Okay, PM.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Yes. How was Jagdeep? How was the class, man?
It was good, though it was a theoretical, but today I got an opportunity to learn from your personal experience a lot. That give me a positive approach, give a positive push to go ahead
Yes.
of that one. Thank you for
Yeah.
that one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Looking forward, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Alan, how was today's class, man, for you?
Yeah, the, it's good.
Very good.
The language is one of problem.
Mhm.
I think maybe next 2 3 classes I pick up everything.
For sure. For sure. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put it on the group as a voice note or type up. Doesn't matter, and everybody will jump in and try to helping. Right. So that's what the whole group is set up is for. It's for student for engagement. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Sunita, I think you didn't go yet, right?
Yeah, so basically it was really interesting. So as you know that it's my first day of class, so that's good to know that we have done a lot of part, the theoretical part, most of the done, and also you encourage us that what type of phases, challenging phases you are gone through your school, college life, everything. So
Mhm.
that's really interesting. So we are hoping for the best that upcoming sessions we will get more. get more interactive sessions, so we'll get more positive updates from the class. So it's really interesting. So we're hoping for the best that upcoming session will be more practical, will more hands-on experience, and we'll get more exposure.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I'll tell you more stories. I have tons and tons of stories. Trust me. And I worked in a gold mine in Thunder Bay. It's a
Oh,
3D project, so that's a very interesting project. Minus 55, 60, I think.
oh my
Uh,
God.
Minus 55, 60. Somebody died of bulldozer crash. So the big dozer crashed. I'll tell you all the stories about, it's very interesting. I've been to places that you can never think of, gold mines.
Mhm.
I went undercover as well. I did a lot of undercover projects as cybersecurity. So I
Oh,
can tell you the stories of that, like going into
Yeah,
companies.
I guessed it. I guessed it initially itself because you are
Did
in a
you?
military and you are in a
Yeah.
cybersecurity intelligence. Then I have
Yeah. So we did a lot
99%
of
I guessed it. You will doing that undercover job for sure.
yeah.
I guessed it. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's not like what you guys think. It's not like fighting anything. That's more
No, 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 no.
it's
I'm not.
about ethical espionage, right? So
Yes,
investigating
yes, yes, yes.
financial crimes, and like right now we get hired by even now we get hired by other companies to go in and infiltrate and see how the security of the system is. What
Yes.
does
Basically, that the threats that
threat
is being
hunters?
threat
Yeah.
hunting, right?
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
definitely. But more of a practical approach than more just from behind. I don't like just behind computers, man. For me, I need to do physical. So I like psychological of people. So I like breaking
Okay.
people. That's what I like to do. Is what I can do to get some information from you. Is it's just using psychology to trick people and giving their username and password. What damage you
Mm,
can cause.
so,
That's what I do on my
like more of a psychological basis instead of going by the IT or the computer stuffs.
Yeah.
Just
It's hard to, you know what? It's hard to break systems and networks. It's so hard, but it's so easy to break people. All
really.
it is a $2 coffee on a regular basis, and I can break anyone, and go into any doors. Coffee, McDonald's coffee, $2 coffee can break. You can't believe how many times I can tell you the things of
No, no.
stories.
I'm seriously saying that you have a very convincing tone also. So I am pretty sure that you'll be you'll be doing that job
If I
hundred.
shave all this, I look a lot younger than anybody can think, but I can't shave. I look like a little kid. If you guys see me shaved, completely shaved, then I'm going on a project. And, that's when you know. I trust me. I look like a hideous. I look like a shaved. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys all have a very good night, and I'll get this class soon as I get the downloading of it from the cloud. I'll upload it and I'll send you guys on the group. Okay, that it's been uploaded into Moodle.
And just one last question. If someone wants to set one-to-one session with you, can we do that or not?
Yes, you can just request me the time. I will let you know what time I'm available. Right now, my times are so packed. I don't know what I'm going to do with my time. I need to either clone myself or fire myself, either or. But I will definitely get you guys time. But it'll be like 30 minutes sessions. Okay. If that's
Okay, yeah, yeah, sure. 30 minutes is enough. Yeah,
yeah, for sure. We
yeah.
can do that.
All
Not
right.
a problem. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank
guys.
you.
Perfect. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next week. The quiz is due on Tuesday before 11:55 p.m. All
All
right, guys.
right. Thank
Have a
you.
Thank you.
good night.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good night.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye.
Okay. Good night, sir. Bye.
Good night.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye,
Good night.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.